What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from antondaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with us. Thank y'all for tuning in for another edition of After Hours. Slimmy will be here shortly. I'm your host, along with some of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my entire life. Carrie looks incredible. Kim looks incredible. Molly looks incredible. Q Diddy, you all right, but we here. What's going on, y'all?
OKC,
Oh my
OKC,
God. So did
OKC.
they win? Did OKC win?
Yeah, they
No,
did.
I just made this T-shirt for myself.
I'm being funny. I saw your 50,000 text messages.
They said they miss you, Carrie.
Am I freezing?
No, you look.
No,
You're fine. You
nigga,
regular.
you heard in the wind.
Oh, you freezing now.
You frozen now. Look at God.
There you go. You back regular. You getting it together?
I'm not freezing.
No, you all right. You good. You coming out of it.
This nigga said when was the parade, nigga? 10 hours ago.
Yeah, how y'all feel today?
Pretty good. No complaints.
Doing good. You did a good Patreon live stream tonight.
Oh yeah,
That
that
blew
did.
my mind. A lot of it was just
Yeah, it was pretty
it's a lot of
awesome.
info. Yeah.
It was. It was. I try to minimize how long I live stream on Patreon because I don't want the information that we presenting to be overwhelming to where you can't really consume it as much as you supposed to. But it was incredible for all of y'all bag chasers, for anybody that's a part of the Patreon. I did re-upload the live stream so you can go and view it. But it was. You can see a lot of the people in the chat said it was crazy. It's too much money out here, y'all. Let me just say this. It's too much money. And if you are a bag chaser and you only join in order to be able to come to the meetup, or you only join in order to get to the real estate stuff, you need to go and consume all of it. Go and watch the AI live. I just did a live stream on AI, how you can leverage it, how I can leverage it, or how I do leverage it, how I use it to streamline my workflow, how I use it to make more money, what you can use it for in order to skip the line. Early adopters are going to be the ones that win. And so this ain't the Millionaire Morning Show, so I'm not going to pitch it to y'all, but I'm just telling you, it's too much money. It's too much money. So go and get that bag, y'all. What else is going on, y'all? What's happening out in these streets before we get started? Anything new? Anything to be aware of?
Not that I know of.
How was y'all week?
Red, I don't. You might be covering this. Are you covering this?
Covering what?
Am
What
I
do you want?
delayed?
Oh, you good. Maybe she is delayed.
The car. My internet was acting up. Maybe y'all go on
Yeah,
my
just leave and come
hotspot.
back here. But Anything happened over the weekend that was interesting to y'all?
Black Yacht Week was fun. I mean, I hate to say that because it was kind of tragic too. There were some people who lost their lives. So
Yeah, what happened with that?
Dummies.
I will say that the winds were supposed to be high, and a lot of captains canceled and said that they weren't going to go out. But then there were an overwhelming amount that did. I think that may have caused some of the problems. The water was rough, and some of the boats sank.
Really? Seriously?
Yeah, went under.
Sheesh.
One of the girls who died was actually on a boat of a friend of mine, and they said that she was kind of like at the front, where I guess it's the bow. I don't know what it's called, but
Yeah.
where it comes together. Well, I guess she was up there taking pictures, and what I would think is that they probably hit a wave and she fell. So
what does that mean that she fell? Because most people who fall in water, they just swim.
she couldn't swim.
Nope,
You know
there you
that.
go. Oh,
Black Yacht.
I knew the answer to the question. I was just saying. It's a legit a black person thing. Like it sucks, and I feel so dumb because I asked my white friend. I was like, "When y'all are out and about on your boats and you fall in the water, what do you do?" He was like, "You swim, motherfucker. What you mean?"
I mean, it's not an unreasonable question if it's something
Yes,
that
it
you
is.
don't know.
Nigga, don't go on no boat.
I mean, because like for example, I would guess that it depends on what body of water that you in. Because some water, like for example, I know this for a fact. There are certain places that you can put the water in and it has a current that then sweeps you in, and it doesn't matter how much you swim, that you are going to be impacted by it in that negative way. So, you know what I'm saying? When you think about it from that lens,
they don't make people wear life vests or nothing. That's not like a thing.
I mean,
not if you partying. Not if you partying. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
People are just wearing them, but they are there. It's just like being on a plane. They're there, but you're not wearing it.
Right.
You know, most
Yeah,
of
it's
the
called a
time.
rip current. Shout out to IM. It's called a rip current.
I don't know. If you can't swim and you're
on a boat,
around the edge of a boat, I think you need to grab a daggone life
vest.
jacket. Yeah. I mean, I'm not laughing at her dying. Like, that's sad, but
Yeah, there were people on my boat who said they couldn't swim. Like,
they ain't gonna stop people from going out and partying. I'll tell you that much.
Literally.
And they rather
people
look
gonna
cute.
do what they gonna do.
They rather look cute than put on a life vest.
well, y'all heard about the girl a couple of weeks ago who fell off the boat and she got pulled into. Now they were docked and she got pulled into the boat's engine and it like severed her legs. And two women were able to pull her out back onto the boat. So she's alive, but she lost her legs.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know what? Just go ahead and take.
Don't let me tap out, nigga. I'm good.
I'll keep my feet on land.
Don't pull me out.
Nigga,
just go ahead and let me go.
Let me go.
Y'all serious? For real?
Yes. Nigga, get me chopped up, nigga. This shit over, nigga. Let me
chopped up.
I'm not trying to live without my legs, nigga. Let me tap out.
Yeah, seriously. If it's certain things missing, I can go without like a finger.
Oh my
if
God.
you chop off both my legs, just go ahead and let me go on under.
You
I don't even want to be saved. Just let me go.
You save me. I'm gonna yell at you, nigga. Nigga, I'll make sure you fucking remember that shit for the rest of your life, nigga. And not a good way. Not a good way.
I'm gonna be just like Captain Dan, Captain Dan on Forrest Gump, where he was mad that Forrest Gump saved me. I'm gonna just be like Captain Dan, like I can't believe you saved me, motherfucker.
Oh, bitch ass niggas saving niggas and shit.
Facts. What you think you was doing? Jumping in the water? Nigga, leave me to that.
Well, that's actually interesting because the story, some people said that they saw her jumping. Some people said that, yeah. So they're trying to figure out, did she jump in or did she fall in? And her parents, because it was her graduation trip. And her parents are trying to get all the information because they said that they think that something,
they're just looking
shady happened.
That's niggas looking to sue. You know how that is.
Then when stuff like that happens, I think a lot of times people just look for a reason. They don't want it to be the reason of the person that it happened to.
Let me go. Let me be. Let me go ahead. I lived a good life. Let me go meet my maker. At that
Yes,
point, I'll
Lord
take my
Jesus.
chances.
Yes, I lived a good life.
Facts. I ain't
Yep.
trying to be out here with no legs. What I'm gonna do with no legs?
Get some prosthetics.
Nigga get pushed around
Hell
in a
no.
wheelchair. Get pushed around in a wheelchair, nigga.
Nope. Let me go. Let me be. Let me go
Mm.
ahead and meet my maker. I'm good.
I broke my leg one time and he gave me a brand new appreciation for walking and handicapped people because I'm like, they be going through it, especially if they can't walk or incapacitated. It
Yeah.
just it makes you appreciate. It's
I
like
tried
something
to.
as little as walking, you take it for granted until you can't do it.
You do. You absolutely do. I did wheelchair basketball one time. I was like, man, if I gotta be in a wheelchair, just take me out, my nigga.
Nigga, you take everything, even getting sick, nigga. Like you take just being healthy for granted until you get better. You're like,
That's true.
this
That's
sucks.
true.
Facts. When I got my wisdom teeth pulled, because I had got all four pulled at the same time, and they called in my order at the pharmacy for the pain medicine or whatever, and that shit wasn't ready. Nigga, that junk started wearing off. I thought I was about to die. I literally thought I was going to die. I was ready to give up. I was on the floor beating on the. I have never felt pain like that in my entire life. I was on the floor, just beating on the floor, like, oh, I can't believe it. I don't know what to do. I didn't know. It was just a pain. It was just constant.
I've heard people say that certain things with their mouth, like with their teeth, like a real bad toothache is worse than more extreme things. I've never had a real bad toothache, so I can't relate.
It's the worst thing that I've ever felt. Honestly, I have never felt that type of pain in my entire life. Slimmy,
what's popping?
Chilling. I personally have never. When that pain wore off, like,
Did you cry? Did you cry?
Yep. I didn't cry like, but I certainly had some tears in my eyes.
I had a speaking
I
of
was watering.
speaking of crying, I had a strong independent woman call me last night because her dog was in a fight with the snake.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. How was he in the fight?
Well, it was just the snake and the dog wouldn't leave the snake alone, and she was scared of snakes, and I'm like, I don't deal with women crying well at all. I was like, I don't know what you're crying for. I was like, what do you want me to do? I said, call animal control. What the fuck do you want me to do?
Yeah. Well, the thing about some of the people saying I had surgery, so I didn't just get my wisdom teeth pulled. They cut it out. They cut out my teeth because they was growing in sideways. So they had to literally take me under, put me under anesthesia and do surgery on all four wisdom teeth and get them out. And so when that shit hit, man, I wanted to kill the pharmacy.
Yeah, when I got my wisdom teeth out, I stayed ahead of everything. Anytime I need painkillers, I stay ahead of the pain coming in.
I didn't take any of mine. I had all four pulled at the same time. I didn't take the pills because they make me sick to my stomach and I don't like that feeling. So I just thugged it out.
Yeah, that shit was hurting. That shit was so miserable. I ain't never felt no junk like that. What up, Slimmy? How was your weekend?
The weekend was amazing. Woo! I want to run that bitch back, but
Was it like that?
Oh man,
somewhere.
Woo! My God, man, the party. We had a basement party. I went to a basement party, man. That shit was so.
Slimmy went old school.
Oh yeah, it was. Oh my God, there was so many women having fun, dancing. Oh, it was a vibe, man. I enjoyed myself. Thoroughly.
I saw your video of you dancing.
What video?
I don't know if you were tagged in it or what, but I saw you dancing. You look like you were having a good time.
I don't know what you talking about. Oh no. Hey. That story ain't up no more. It's over with. No, yeah, I had fun though. Yeah, we was just in the parking lot clowning. That's all. That's like one of my favorite songs. I like that shit.
Yeah.
So we was dancing in the parking lot, going crazy. It was old school, man. It was throwback. I hadn't seen anyone do no parking lot pimping in a long time. And my homegirl, she had the car bar. That shit was crazy.
That's dope. That's real dope. I know
Yeah,
my
car
morning
bars.
was fucked up when I seen that goddamn roach.
What?
Huh?
I seen a roach in a restaurant that I went into this morning, in the breakfast restaurant. I said, I can't do this shit.
Oh no, that's over with.
Yeah, that's it. I threw the food away and everything, bro. I was getting the carry out. I went in
it's
to
over
pay
with.
for food, and I seen a roach walking across the goddamn man, fuck that. I was like, I'm out, bro. Turn my stomach. I couldn't even eat, bro. I couldn't even like go and order nothing from somewhere else to go eat. It just messed up my whole psyche. I just can't do it, bro.
Hearing you say that turned my stomach. My stomach is weak. My pain tolerance is high, but my stomach is weak. That's nasty. That's nasty.
Yeah.
Why eat at home?
So, anyways, that happened. Quinton got his victory with OKC.
Niggas is hating so hard. How can you hate on someone winning a championship? That don't make no sense.
But some people, they just didn't want to see them win.
It's not even that. It's like even like all the pundits, they like put an asterisk. I'm like, you can literally put an asterisk next to most people that get a title. Nigga, somebody get hurt on the other team.
Wait, what's the asterisk for?
Because Halliburton got hurt.
Tyrese Halliburton got injured.
Oh man, Golden State won strictly on it. Never mind. Yeah, you gotta ignore that type of shit.
This should go back to the 70s. Magic's first title, buddy from the Pistons got hurt.
But Kareem was hurt.
Isaiah Thomas got hurt. Then the next year, Magic got hurt, and Isaiah Thomas won. And
injuries is a part of the game.
Yeah, Kareem was hurt though. So Magic,
you gotta get lucky.
Injuries is a part of the game.
I think that's probably one thing that most people don't know about titles. It ain't just one series, one game, nigga. It's a culmination of the fucking whole year.
Yeah, y'all deserved it. Y'all won. Y'all was the best team from start to finish.
Them niggas is crazy. You know what? I thought about y'all. I was like, this is kind of sad, and I didn't want to do it when they got all the families together and all the niggas had white chicks. I was like, God damn, it was one black girl in that damn thing.
Well, that maybe should be the beginning of the show, right? Well,
God, dude, it was sad though. I'm like, man, I was like, where the black chicks at?
Does that bother y'all? Does it bother? Do y'all think that that's problematic that there were no black women
represented at all?
Does that bother y'all?
It's Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
No.
0 people on the Thunder are from Oklahoma. It literally has nothing to do with us. They just play here.
Do y'all think that is a larger cultural issue in which the majority of the players, regardless of what their races, that they all were with white women?
I do think in a way it's viewed as a status symbol, but it doesn't bother me until they're degrading black women. Other than that, like who you like, be with who you want to be with.
What about you, Carrie?
My apologies. I did not hear the question.
None of the players, all of the players was with white women that won a championship from Oklahoma City, an NBA championship.
I mean, hey, the white girls got their man. Like, I mean, like
the white girl got their man. That's funny.
Weren't they white?
No, it's black players. It's a bunch of black players too.
Yeah, it's mostly black.
All the women were white.
Yeah,
Hispanic, white. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, Yeah, that does not bother me. That doesn't bother me.
Or why not? Well, I'm saying
Because,
why
like,
not? Because
while
I know that that's a thing. I know that that has always been a
Is it really a status symbol or like?
it's not a thing to me, and though you know, we talked about this before. The more that I know that there's even strategy to go find these men, it's like, okay, they have strategies and they get results. Like, sounds like a solid game plan to me.
I think it's a numbers game.
What do you mean?
It's more of them that people want than the other.
So you think that white women are the greater demographic?
I don't think I just think there's more. It's easier to find like a chill ass white girl than a chill ass black girl.
Oh no, I disagree.
Okay, that's fine.
Wow.
But I mean, I guess the question isn't whether or not it bothers us or not. I guess the bigger question is, why are they? You know, to kind of speak to what Quinton was saying, why is it that all? And I just talking
It's a
about,
personal thing. It's per life because just like in my normal day life, like white women treat me better than black women.
I would say black women
Like
find a lot of those guys corny, and the white women will just, you know, they'll take it because they don't know.
they don't know
They
what.
don't. They don't know.
Know what?
They don't judge black men the way black women judge black men
But
because
what don't they know though? What is there to know that they don't know that y'all know?
they don't know a difference. Like for a black woman, it's
So y'all
plenty
put
different variations of black
so y'all
men,
put
and a
something on us
lot of
that
black
y'all
women
shouldn't.
don't like a lot of these athletes. They think they're corny, and a lot of them are suburban. Not all.
What's corny about being suburban?
Nothing, but to a lot of black women, they're just corny.
Well, I'm just saying. It sounded like
They're
you're
not
trying to make it.
hard.
It was trying to
They're not rough around the edges, a lot of them.
better.
I can say that. Like,
I know a lot
I'm
that
drawing
are
my experience from being at LSU. I'm not saying that there weren't some suburban guys, but the ones who went to jail, you know, football players, basketball players, that kind of stuff. But I will say that the white women went after them in college, whereas the black women were like trying to get into sororities or graduate or
right,
go to
yeah.
whatever. So it was just a different mission.
White women were in sororities too. There were
That's
whores and there were whores in sororities.
that's
What
true too.
what's that college?
That's
What's the
true
little
too.
one where they necking on the weekend and the spring break and it's all the college white bitches
Oh,
and they had the
the
porn
girls
video
gone wild.
girls going, yeah, it was all freaking sorority white chicks, whores. Don't act like
I
they
don't know.
weren't doing it too.
I'm gonna just use it. I'm gonna be transparent, and I'm gonna just throw the whole uncomfortable bomb in there. I think that white women are pedestalized as a status symbol. And we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to admit it because we want to just say that it's preference. But the reality is that I think that they are looked at as a status symbol. Um, and that's one of the reasons why guys with resources tend to go for them. I don't think it got shit to do with attitude. I don't think it has anything to do with any of that. And the reason that I say that is because that would mean that black women are a monolith, right? That would mean that white women are a monolith. Because if you're telling me that there's no white women as mouthy, I'm telling you a lie. If you're telling me that it's no black women that know how to be quiet, I'll tell you that you a lie because I got one. So you know what I'm saying? Like,
That's why. Oh,
I
sorry.
don't believe that it's only because the group of people. I think that the culture a lot of times will show you the worst of the black community, which is also true because stereotypes are earned. But at the same time, I will also tell you that, and I don't have no problem with preference. Let's be clear. I'm not saying this to say that people should or shouldn't. I've always on the idea that you should go with whatever it is that that you feel comfortable with. But what I am also saying is, I don't believe even for 1 second that people don't look at that as a status symbol. 100%.
Oh,
That's a
And
nice
that might.
that's a nice picture of Shay and Haley.
Yeah, I picked a good one. See,
well, I'll go even further. Oh, go ahead, Carrie. My bad.
Sorry, Carrie.
No, go ahead.
So I'll go even further, and because I under well, I ain't gonna say I understand, but I see what really be going on, man. Like for real, they trying to push a narrative, like Anton said. Also, that narrative could lead into something more deeper and darker, eugenics. So you're trying to create when you're trying to create a certain group, and you're trying to create an elite group, you can use athletes to help do that, to help push that agenda, to help with that, because these are the most peak human, um, I guess you could say, people that there are. You're not going to find anybody stronger, faster than most athletes. This is peak human. So this is part of that process. You would
Yep.
take the strongest, and this goes all the way back. This goes all the way back to what the Greeks used to do when they had their what is that, at the Colosseum, when they had their games. They took the
Yeah.
strongest, they took the fastest. So
Gladiators.
when you combine all that with the narrative, you got the practice of eugenics. So you're trying to create a master race, and you got so many outcomes from that, and some of those outcomes, I'm not gonna say any names, but some of those outcomes, you see it in the NBA already. Some of them are already there. So like, it's a narrative. The majority of the owners are a certain group, so they pushing that narrative. That's all it is. It's just a
I
narrative.
think
So
that I think that people a lot of times, it's funny because I see guys in the chat a lot of times, and I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna still say what I say, but they'll use any excuse, right? So they'll say, for example, it's funny because if we're talking about a different subject, then people will use a narrative and say something like um, weight or looks, right? Let's take looks. Man, look, bro, I think that anybody could have their preference, but for me, you can't tell me that black women are not better naturally shaped than any other women. And that's not a knock on other women, but the thing that everybody went and chased was the thing that black women used to naturally be. So I don't know. I'm just not going for it. Like, I think that if you want something, you can go and get it. If you're telling me that all of one thing is the same way, I'll tell you that you're a lie. You can literally go and get and find anything that you want, and people do it every single day. So if you're going to use the excuse and say, "Oh no, all black women is," I just don't believe it because I don't think that all of anybody is anything, and I just think that people look at white by subconsciously. We've always pedestalized white women to be the status symbol. It just is what it is. For whatever
And
reason, white women have always been the status symbol. Don't matter how many niggas she sucked off. Don't matter where it is that she come from. Y'all niggas would take white women that got multiple kids and then justify that shit. I don't give a fuck what you saying. Y'all niggas be sucking off these pink toes,
I
and
think
you
for
look
me
at
it started at a
status.
young age. My not even like being of recent events. My first girlfriend was Iranian.
That's cool.
They fine as fuck.
I
well,
think
I
that
think
all
I think
women.
I,
I
I
think
think
all
I,
women
I
is
don't need,
fun.
that's why people say I date white people. I don't even like that. I think I like the exotic look, whatever that is, and that's not black and that's not white.
I think that people should go wherever it is that they rocking out with, but don't tell me that they don't pedestalize it because they
well,
do.
I can't say if men or people pedestalize white women more or not. I'm not saying that I disagree with that, but I really do think a lot of it in terms of the athletes has to do with strategizing and has to do with proximity. Like even in conversations that I have with some of the homeschool groups I'm a part of, obviously a lot of them are people who are a little lighter than me. Um, and then even, just post college, I've had more white women say that they went to college to find a husband. I
Yeah,
I I
I
probably
believe that.
I probably never, I can't say never, but I can't recall hearing a black woman say she went to college to find a husband. And I think just that alone is going to put them ahead of the curve as it relates to athletes. Because if you're going to school or you're going somewhere intentionally looking for a husband, you're going to go to where you think the people who are going to make more money are, and at college, that's athletes.
I think that that's partly a lie too, though. I think that they go to do both, because white women are some of the sluttiest women I've ever seen on a college campus in my entire life. So they do both. They split it out and they go for it.
Well, no, I'm not. Let's also get. I'm not by any means saying that they don't go have fun at college. So I'm not saying that, or they don't go slut it out at college. I'm just saying they go with the idea to leave with a man, in my opinion, more than black women. We go to college 9 times out of 10, I think, to leave with a degree to go into a career.
And to party. And to party.
Or is it a white man? Or is it a white man?
Is, right. A lot of people go to college to party, but I'm talking about in terms of the man component. And then people after college, again, if you are looking for a husband, then I think that you will start to strategize on where I need to be. So you'll probably find more white women at the parties, at the events, at the hotels, with the athletes, with certain types of occupations of men.
I don't think that
take. We are thinking like that as a majority. I think a lot of us are just kind of like, I'm gonna go my path and I'll find my man along my way.
Okay, I'll say this unpopular take. Most women are sluts when they go to college. They're fucking whores. And it's probably the white women are more married because they're simp white men, or they put up with sluts more than us black niggas do.
Okay,
black men put up with white sluts more also.
They don't marry. I'm talking about marriage. So the white people are married to the white people. So more white men are putting up with white sluts than black men are.
Bro. Listen.
Absolutely.
I've interviewed multiple different. I've interviewed multiple different NBA players, and I am friends with some of them.
I'm talking about numbers. I'm not talking about anecdotal experience.
That have big platforms right now. And I am telling you that they will tell you that when they go to these hotels, it is overwhelmingly white women that already have researched and found the schedule for the entire year as to whether or not what NBA team is going to what hotel and where they're going to be staying at all throughout the year.
I led with the women are sluts.
Quinton, I'm not debating you. I'm not even talking about your point. I'm using my own point.
To Quinton's point,
all of you niggas in the chat is gay. How about that?
Molly, that's your line, nigga.
All of you niggas in the chat is gay. Because the fact of the matter is, you niggas don't know no NBA players, and so they ain't gave you no insight into how it is that they live their life. The fact of the matter is, they already researched. The team finds out what hotels that they're going to be at in the very beginning of the season and before the preseason even starts. And the fact of the matter is, if the women find it out and they're already waiting at the spot that they know that these guys is in. When the plane is taking off, if the plane is delayed, the players already know which women, and a lot of times it's the same rotation of women on a regular basis. And so they are more intentional about finessing niggas. And here's the other part of it. Trendy Tony, sit your bitch ass out. Here's the other part of it. The players know that these women has been passed around, and sometimes they still marry them. Mm-hmm. They still marry bust downs. They still marry pass arounds. They be 21, 22, 23, 24 years old getting married to women that all of the other players have already slept with. And so if you're telling me that niggas is making smart decisions, they're not. Black men don't marry bust down black women. But they marry down white women. You have to look at it from a pedestalization perspective if that is the case.
Yeah, I've seen it because, like, in going back to LSU, the black girls who just even hung around football players and stuff like that were called all kind of names, sluts, hoes, whatever. But the white women who were known to get passed around they didn't have, like, their reputation wasn't tarnished, so to speak. It was a fact, but it wasn't, they weren't talked down on like the black girls were, who may not have even been doing anything with these guys.
So they'd have told me that too much. They have already told me that, like, so many different players. I mean, you could talk to them. I didn't care, had all of them. I didn't had Lamar Odom kick it. I didn't have Rashad McCants. I didn't talk to plenty of people on the phone. And it'd be the same for rappers when they go to certain venues and stuff and they stay at certain hotels. Like, they already know. They already know exactly where these guys is going to be. I think that black women is less intentional and proactively putting themselves in a position to get selected to take up to the room. Now, the other part of it is that a lot of these white women will also do whatever it takes. So if she got to go through 7-8 different players to find out the one, then she willing to take them all down. She willing to take them all down. The chick that was on No Jumper that said that she let the whole Phoenix Suns team bust her down. They all look the fucking same. They all look the same. So, you know, if you telling me that it's not intentional and that y'all niggas is just choosing, no, you choosing from what's available to you right there in front of your face. So I'm, you know, like I said, I believe most of the time people think that they choosing for themselves, but they choosing from what's available to them. It's a layup. Why would they go and try to dribble through and find out where everybody at when they could just take the layup that's right in front of them?
Yeah, it's an indoctrination also. It's all part of it. It's all part of the same grand scheme. All that shit is definitely intentional as fuck.
It looks like it's working.
So I don't know.
For some, yeah, for sure.
I don't know. And then these chicks divorce these dudes and get half of their shit later on. Tim Duncan's chick, all of them, bro. They be going through all of that. At the end of their career, most of these niggas wind up getting divorced. So I think y'all need to smarten up. And for you broke niggas, half of you broke niggas is in the chat. What we talking about? What we talking about? Half of you niggas couldn't get a snow bunny. That's a fact. Stop acting like all you niggas got game, that y'all out here knocking down white chicks. Nigga, you knocking down your hand.
Well, like, to Molly's point, you don't really need game to get a white chick because they like corny people. So
yeah, but these niggas ain't even outside.
You know how many bitches I'm fucking with my fucking flip flops on, nigga, and a t-shirt.
Why you putting yourself in that same? I know how you get down in real life. I'm not going for these niggas because these niggas. I've seen a couple of you niggas that's in the chat right now. Yeah, I'm beefing with the chat, bitch. I've seen a couple of you niggas in the chat right now. You saying I only do snow bunnies, nigga. I seen y'all sipping for Molly and goddamn Carrie just earlier in the show. You niggas be chasing Mika every day. And then you be talking about, nah, nigga, I only do white. Man, shut the fuck up, nigga. You do whatever it is the subject is that we talking about at that time. You just want to talk. I'm not going for that shit. I'm not gonna keep letting niggas get a pass for talking dumb shit, bro.
What's wrong with modeling?
What's wrong with who?
Modeling. Oh, yeah.
Niggas switch up depending on whatever subject we talking about. So, anyways,
I love the love-hate relationship with the chat.
Gary, I'll drink your bath water. And niggas be like, "Hey, dog, she married." I know, but I would still drink her bath water.
That's so gross. That's so disgusting.
Nobody said that.
People do be saying they drink bath water, though.
Oh, now Carrie is blind. Here we go.
Well, they didn't say that to me. Nobody say that to me.
They still say it though, nigga. Like there's butthole and feet in bath water. That shit's so disgusting. That's a diabolical combination, nigga. Shit. So gross.
Y'all got any other thoughts on this?
I'm sorry, I never saw it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, bath water be filthy too, man.
I'll do you if you do me.
Let me read some of these super chats. Joshua says, random question, Anton. How many black tees do you own? I don't know. I probably got like 30 in each place that I'm at. I got like 30 at the studio, 30 in the suburbs, 30 here. I just keep a whole lot of them. I keep them ordered, and then I throw away the old ones. So Limitless Mind says, shout out to everybody on the panel, dope live stream on the Patreon. I watched Heat for the first time and it was a master. See, you loved it. Great recommendation. Wholesome Mogul says, news, Philly got the top 2 STI rates. I don't know about that. I actually have done a lot of the studies and I ain't ever seen that. I ain't even seen Philly at the top. Joshua says, never seen Molly with this hairstyle. Damn. See what I'm saying? See, they can't take their super chats back. So now we get to see what these niggas was really saying at the beginning of the show. Niggas capping. Chris cool with the super sticker. We appreciate you. Abe the Hunter says, did you hear about the woman who fell into a volcano? She is still there now. They're feeding her by rope. It's in Brazil. No, I ain't heard about that one, big dog. Eric Williams says, I know this weekend on Lake Michigan and Chicago, it was a lot of drownings this weekend. Joshua says, wait, I'm going to do about my legs, Charlotte Murphy. What I'm going to do about my legs, Charlotte Murphy? Quasar says, Slimmy sweating like TD Jakes at a Diddy party. Quinn said, what up with the 5-ball? Slippery Gorilla says, fun fact, today, June 24th, is National Wee Wee Suck Day. What? Oh, this is so dumb. Look at this. Chris, so cool. Look at Carrie. She's so fire. Niggas be capping. You know what I'm saying? Sitting there talking all of that shit. Quinn D. Eskimo says, I had the exact same issue with both wisdom teeth. They grew sideways and the dentist cut them in half, then removed them. Didn't hurt much, but it was weird hearing the saw cutting through each one. Oh, I was asleep. I was knocked out. Empire Foundation says top 10 snow bunny heaven areas: OKC, Madison, Wisconsin, Nashville, Kalamazoo, Carbondale, Illinois. Carbondale, I ain't even ever heard of that one. Iowa, Nebraska, Idaho, Utah, and Seattle.
People don't know what they talking about. Like the white people don't live in Oklahoma City. They live like north of it. Oklahoma City is really ghetto.
Molly, Anton's right. How can you generalize 2 groups of people, white women or black men, and having none of their experiences? I put my commas on tonight, sweetheart. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. GBG says black men need to put on the invisibility cloak, Skechers, if they're going to date interracially. One pair, they won't see you. They'll even avoid you entirely. GMT Travel says they go to white universities. It's more white girls around. Rico says they just upscale lot lizards. Facts. Empire Foundation says white, WIGHT, white women are told by their mothers to have all the oral and anal, but leave your vag for marriage. McDye says AD will never pass up a chance to shit on people. Absolutely, because y'all shit on people in the chat, and so I shit back. B-Ball says, shout out to the whole panel. Username Delta says, all women, regardless of race, hoeing for professional athletes, though, and I ain't going. I love all women. GMT Travel says, go to Seattle. White girls are so available. Black girls aren't around like the South, like the white universities. No, you can have fucking Seattle, that liberal hellhole. T. Sam's I can never see Carrie, but she really does look like Sanaa Lathan. I guess it's true. You got a doppelganger somewhere. And shout out to Nasty Stu. Says, Carrie, I want to drink your bath water.
That's so gross.
He said that with his chest.
Yeah. Look at Carrie. I'm so shy. Don't worry about it.
Shut up.
That's disgusting.
I'm so shy.
Like you farting, the bubbles come up and stuff. It's so
Let
funny.
me tell you about Carrie. This is Carrie's play. Well, no, I'm not gonna say it yet. I'm gonna wait till she do it, and then I'm gonna say, "Yep, that's Carrie right there." Watch this, y'all. She do it. All right. So let's get the dumb stuff out of the way. Let's go over to politics real quick, and then we're gonna go over to B. Simone and relationship stuff and all of that. So, obviously, Trump, the Trump administration has had some successes, and some people would say some failures. So, ceasefire, just give you all a little bit of an update on what Trump said about the ceasefire that is in place and it is holding, so nobody is fired or done anything since Trump got mad. But this is him being mad and him cussing out reporters, as well as talking about Netanyahu breaking a ceasefire initially. Check it out.
Israel says that Iran violated the peace agreement, the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand?
All right, so that was Trump dropping the F-bomb earlier today. And again, the ceasefire is holding. That has been reported to the news. I can show that too if y'all want me to show that. But long story short, how do you guys feel about the first 6 months that Trump has been in office in a general sense? Anybody can.
I'm still feeling good about him and everything he's done. He's done what I voted for, so I can't be mad at that. And it's only been 6 months, so we have to give it time. We still locked in for another 3.5 years, but I'm happy with it. I could never imagine what it's like to be a politician or the president and have to be obligated to make so many different people and groups happy at the same time. So it could be political theater, but I think he's doing the best he can do with what he has. This is a completely different administration than his first one. Like the whole everything about it is just different. So I know he got sabotaged a lot during his first term. I wouldn't be surprised if it's still some people behind the scenes trying to sabotage him. So hopefully it'll all get worked out. But I think I think Israel and Iran, I don't know. I hate that we're so wrapped up in it and that we've always been wrapped up in it. But I'll let somebody else say something. You're muted.
Anybody else on their thoughts on Trump's first 6 months in office?
I agree with what Molly said. I think that he is actively working on the things he said he would be working on and doing. Based off of the numbers, he's made significant impact on the borders. And I mean, I honestly haven't paid as much attention to a presidential election and all of the politics ever before until this particular election. So I can't say, I don't know if what I'm about to say is true or not, but from my recollection, Trump seems to be the president that has had to deal with the most, how would I say it, anti him than any other president I can think. Like I'm often really shocked at how many people in the government are adamantly trying to get the public to turn against the president while he is the president. And to be dealing with that, but staying focused on being the president, that to me in and of itself speaks volumes. I agree with what Molly said. I really do think that this go round, he is attempting to do the best he can. Not that he wasn't before, but I think he has taken his first term and really learned from it, and he's applying it and doing the best that he can do this term. Doesn't mean I understand or agree with everything, but in general, I think that he's doing a good job.
Slimmy, what do you think about the job that the press is doing?
I think he's compromised, so they got him by the balls. He doing what they tell him to do.
What do you mean? Please elaborate, sir.
Going to war, like we don't have no reason to be there. We don't have no reason to help out Israel, but they got him by the balls, so he doing what they told him to do.
Do you think that the strategy worked though? Because we haven't seen a ceasefire in our lifetime, or Iran actually, submit or actually said that they wanted to work towards a peace deal. But it seems like it's now taking place. Do you think that it was all part of a strategy that we didn't understand, but that actually worked?
Nah, I think this is just the start of World War III. It's just the beginning. It's gonna get way worse. What I really think going on is all that shit that had to do with them borders. All this shit is coordinated, and it's gonna get ugly. I think it's gonna get real bad. They talking about a lot of shit about Russia might get involved and some weird ass shit, man. I really hope none of that shit happens because we've never seen a real war like this of this magnitude ever fought on U.S. soil, and I really hope that's not what takes place. I really hope that's not what takes place because that's what it's really leaning towards.
You
Because
think it's
who's to
World
stop?
War III, Slimmy?
Who's to stop them? Man, you can't tell nobody they can't have some type of weaponry. Who are you
Well,
to tell somebody they can't? Who are you to tell somebody they can't have some type of weaponry to protect themselves from the people that have been attacking them? They got attacked unwarranted,
I agree.
so wait,
unwarranted,
wait,
and
wait, wait.
then
Let
they
me
got
ask you a
attacked.
question, Slimmy. Let me ask you a question.
They got attacked unwarranted, and then all of a sudden the United States just like, hey, we gonna give y'all this amount of time. Boom, we right in it. That's bullshit. What the fuck you in it for?
So, Slimmy, you think that it's okay for Iran to have nuclear weapons?
You, what I'm saying is you can't tell somebody how to protect themselves. You cannot tell some. You can't dictate that shit. It's not your job.
Hmm.
Like everybody got. I mean, think about this. Everybody has nuclear weapons. Who are you to tell this one country like, hey, you can't have that shit? Who the fuck are you? Sooner or later, you keep playing bully at the playground, somebody gonna pop you in the face, and then if it could be a bunch of people that you bullied that come try and jump you. Like, let's
So
just be
you
real
think
about
that
that shit.
Iran bully could come and jump the United States of America?
No, I'm thinking that the United States has made a lot of enemies over the years, and they could all very much get together and just say, fuck y'all. And and who's to stop them from doing that shit? Who's to say that this isn't the first step in that direction? Because why are you getting involved? It made no sense. It made no sense. Like, it made none whatsoever. Like, we sitting here, and the problem, and what people aren't thinking about is it's Americans over there that this shit could turn real savage real quick for people that's already over in the Middle East. They could just start killing them just because. Then they saying they hit these, man. It's just a bad look. It's a bad look.
So you think that we should let every country do whatever it is that they want to do?
I think certain times we just need to stop backing a certain group and a certain country and let them fight their own fucking wars. They went and picked a fight, let them fight it themselves. Because who's to say who gonna really win this shit? If America gonna jump in every time these motherfuckers pretty much pick a fight, when you gonna ever know if they could really handle some shit for themselves?
Well, I don't 100% agree with that. Overall, right? Because for example, why would let's use a far out example. Let's say Canada got into it with somebody. Do you think that we shouldn't align with Canada to make sure that they okay, even though they're a border country on the United States of America, and we have
I
a
don't.
financial hold on, and we have a financial interest in Canada remaining healthy?
Well, I think the difference is they're right upstairs. So I think we definitely have an obligation to help them because they're connected to us. I don't see like Israel is over there. Israel's over there. So if a country decides to do something to the US, Israel is safe. They're not affected by that.
But
Canada,
You don't think that we
What
have
can,
some level of a financial interest in what happened? Because that's the only reason that I could come up with of why we are aligned with Israel. I
it's
don't believe,
beyond
like
financial
I'll give you an
interest.
example. One of the things that Trump did in order to try to help work towards uh, getting some form of a peace deal or a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine is they said, listen, we helped you, we helped supply you, but at the same time, we want a mineral rights deal that would allow for us to be able to recoup our investment that comes along with being a partner with Ukraine in order to ensure that Russia don't completely crush you. Right. So there's a financial interest that comes along with that. And I think that there's always a financial interest that comes along with anything war related, in addition to the military industrial complex. So what I'm asking is, do you think that we should just let everybody in the world do whatever it is that they want to do?
I'm gonna say this again. I'm only talking about this. I have nothing to do with what everything else goes on. What I'm talking about is this instance. In this instance, we needed to stay the fuck out of it. We had no reason to jump in.
I believe that. I believe that too, Slimmy. I believe that
outside of the fact that obviously they own the United States. And no, I'm not wrong. No, I'm not. I know
I
for a
believe
fact
that
that I'm
too
wrong.
at first, Slimmy. But now that I see that toward, it moving more towards, now that I have hindsight of how things played out, and the fact that we've never seen Iran actually listen to the United States of America outside of us sanctioning them, you don't think this actually played out for the better? Like that it was a chess game that Trump won?
No, I don't see. The thing is, like, this isn't about Trump. This isn't about Trump. This
Well,
is
he's
about,
our commander in chief.
yeah, but this isn't about, what I'm saying is Trump is the president. It wouldn't have mattered who it was. It wouldn't have
Oh,
mattered who it
absolutely,
was.
Slimmy.
No, well, you gotta let me land. So it wouldn't have
Okay.
mattered who it was, because honestly, I think personally, if it was Kamala Harris in office, it would have happened already. They would have joined in immediately. It would have all been taken, like everything would have happened immediately, because
Well,
none
Kamala
of these,
didn't support Israel though.
it don't matter. She don't have to. It doesn't matter who they support. These people are figureheads. They are figureheads. They do what they're told.
So you
No.
think that if Kamala Harris was in office, it would have played out the exact same way as what Trump
Yeah,
just did? No,
I think it would. I'm pretty sure it would have. I'm
no.
pretty sure it would have. Like, you can't have all these. You can't have all these deities in place in this country, and then tell them no when they tell you we need you to do something.
I don't believe
Like,
that at all.
we always do
Well, if they aren't
everything.
funding you, you kind of can say no because they're not really sponsoring you. So
You say
if
what?
they're not backing you, then how do you not say no? If
What do you
Israel
mean?
isn't necessarily sponsoring Kamala's campaign, why would she tell them yes? She's not benefiting off of them.
Fuck that campaign. That shit don't have nothing to do with it.
I'm just, but
That,
they get their
that shit don't
money
have
a
nothing to
lot
do
of
with
the
it.
time from
Nah,
Jewish donors.
that. But
So
what
if
I'm
she's not
saying is,
supporting,
it
go ahead, I'm sorry.
it doesn't matter if they're supporting her campaign. If she would have got in, it's over her head. Don't matter. It's over your head. They're gonna try to get some pushback. No. You're gonna do this, or we gonna do this. There's no telling what will happen, because they have us by the balls financially. There's no doubt about that.
How do you know? How do you figure they have us by the balls financially, Slimmy?
That
I'm
every
just asking. I don't know.
they own everything with the U.S. All of their banks are here. Everything.
We're
They
baby
got us.
England. And we keep
Pardon me?
forgetting that we're baby. I said we're baby England. And we keep forgetting that as a nation, we're still baby England. And so we kind of, England and in the whole kingdom, they were involved a lot with the Jewish people in the banking system. So if we brought a lot of that stuff over here and just took over, we've always kind of been in bed with Israel. Nothing
That's my
has really
point.
changed.
That's my
So I
point.
mean, it's just no point in getting like super. emotionally aroused about it because it was founded like this though. You have
Who's
the
getting emotionally
whole
aroused?
I'm just saying, just in general though. But like, and then always saying, I know we can always complain about like Jewish people and the banking system, but we're still using it. So
I don't know, Slimmy. I don't necessarily agree. I agree with some things that you're saying, but I think that other things you might be a little bit off on. Um, I don't think that it would be the same if Kamala Harris was in office at all. Um, I just don't. I don't believe a lot of the different things that's going on. I know that there's things that nobody knows is happening behind the scenes, but then at the same time, again, I do believe that in hindsight, seeing how things played out, that the best possible outcome played out. And no, I don't think that Iran should have a nuclear weapon at all. I think Iran played a huge role when it came to a lot of the military equipment, a lot of the drone strikes that played out between Russia and Ukraine. I think that they have continued to fund some of the most crazy things that's happened across the world as far as their allies and the people that they rock out with. And I'm also very confused at how some of the people in the chat is saying that Iran, how people are in support of Iran. I am so
Well, let me ask this.
confused. I
Why
don't
sh-
know how people are actually making a case for Iran. Honestly, I don't. If they were making a case for Iran, the people of Iran, because I don't think that the people in Iran, Iranians, are bad people. But how can they support a regime that says death to America? I just couldn't fathom this. Like if this was the 80s, if this was the 70s, everybody would be united and saying anybody that says death to America, hell no. We don't rock with y'all at all. But I am so confused how people are just so anti-America that they would make a case that Iran that they rocking out with Iran, and that shit is weird to me. It is so
okay?
weird to me.
So let me ask this: why shouldn't Iran have one, but Israel should?
I don't think that Israel should either. I don't think that just because one person is doing something wrong, that another person can be justified in doing it also. Just
So
because I don't agree with Israel either. I've never said that Israel is doing the right thing, but it doesn't mean that I then think that Iran should do it also. I think that neither one of them should have a nuclear weapon.
right.
But
So
I'm not going to say
okay.
that Iran should have one just because Israel got one. I don't think that either one of us should.
But the thing is, though, like you can't go after a whole country and go to war on that basis, though. Like neither of them, if neither of them should have it, why are we going to war to stop them from getting it? While this other country could be cooking that same thing up. We not
Because one of them
we
is
not
our
did.
ally and the other one is not. If you listen, if
Are they
you
really
sit
an
here,
ally or do they
you
or
my
do the
homie, me and you, we dogs. You my dog.
right?
And you walk around with a pistol because you want to make sure that you protect yourself. I'm not gonna say, yeah, man. I think that that the op should have a pistol also. Of course, I'm gonna support you because you my dog. Now, I don't want you walking around out here with a pistol, but I'm not gonna sit here and justify the ops having one also. No, I don't want them to have one. No, I don't want them to have weapons to be able to come at us. I think that we are right. I'm always gonna be on the side of right when it comes to us. I'm always gonna be aligned with my people. I'm never going to be aligned with the ops and saying, you know what? I think that they should have the right to be able to fight back. No, fuck them. Fuck everything
Okay,
that they talking about.
okay. So keep that same hypothetical. And so say that I got this gun, I got this strap, and I just go run around pistol whipping people. I'm just pistol whipping. I'm just pistol whipping
Well, then
people. I'm
me and
just
you gotta
pistol
have a
whipping them with it.
conversation. Me and you gotta have a conversation.
Okay. No,
Slimmy, stop pistol whipping niggas. But can't nobody say shit about Slimmy. You know
all
why?
right.
Because Slimmy is my dog.
No. But then I'm
And
like, no.
I'm always gonna be in the best interest of what's best for America.
Well, wait. But what I'm saying is, while I'm pistol whipping them, I'm like, Anton gonna help me. Anton gonna help me. Anton gonna help me. And I'm
And
just
if they
pistol
fire
whipping people.
back at you, then shit, we going to war then, nigga.
That's my point.
What's your point?
That's my point.
Justified it.
You
If
can't.
Slimmy was going to war, then
That's not right though. It's not right though.
Then that's me. Then me and you gonna have to have a conversation on the side. But that motherfucker don't. But he don't get to have a conversation.
But okay, fine. But what you can't do is you can't just jump in there and say and start pistol whipping too. It's just you can't just jump in there and start pistol whipping too. It's going to be ramifications. But wait a minute, it's ramifications for that.
No, it's not, because we got bigger guns and we got a bigger army.
There you go. You just said it.
We got bigger guns.
There you go.
But why did you start pistol whipping a nigga? That's the question.
Exactly.
No. Why did you start pistol whip? Because that nigga's a terrorist.
No. Well, you don't.
Because he said death to Anton, and you was like, no, you can't say death to Anton, nigga. Get your ass up in here.
But what if they were really saying that because you was cool with me, and they knew that I secretly, and they knew
he can't say death to Anton, and he can't be in proximity of firing off on Slimmy.
Okay, but what if they knew that I'm blackmailing you? I'm blackmailing you.
No, see, you make it now. See, now you getting going way too far.
But this is the thing. This is what I'm saying. Because Israel got us by the balls.
I don't believe
and these countries know that, and these countries know that.
I don't believe that, Slimmy. I don't believe that Israel got us by the balls. I don't believe that.
Yeah, they definitely do. They definitely do. Because every time it never fails, we always build them out.
What if we're
the same thing that I would do for you and you would do for me?
What if they're in bed with each other though? I don't think they necessarily have us by the balls. I think we've always worked together.
Okay, what do we benefit? What do we benefit? What do we benefit from helping this country so far over?
Let's use a better example. Quinton crashes out sometimes. Quinton times people out in chat sometimes. Quinton blocks people sometimes. Quinton calls people bitches sometimes. Guess what? Nobody can tell me anything about Quinton. I'm going to say, Quinton, come on, man. Please don't time niggas out. And then Quinton was more upset at the fact that the chat voted to remove his wrench, that I had to get his wrench back so he wouldn't have a pity party. Quinton still has wrench powers to time niggas out. What am I going to do? Right? It reminds me of Goodfellas. Remember when the guy went and was complaining that Nikki was out here terrorizing terrorizing his restaurant, and he was like, what are you going to do? I got a bad kid. You know what I'm saying? He's a good guy, but he fucks up some shit sometimes. What am I going to do? I can't go against Quinton because Quinton is my dog. It just is what it is. It just is what it is. Nobody can say anything about Quinton.
I think that's the problem though. Because we let them get away with too much, man. We bail them out too often, man. Like then you gotta think. I ain't gonna get into that though. I ain't gonna get into all the shit that go on in this country. I know everything about loyalty. Don't ever type that dumb shit again. We talking about something totally different. We talking about going to war with two different countries. You sound stupid as fuck. Talking about loyalty. The US is loyal to a fault to the wrong fucking people. To the wrong motherfuckers.
What if
I'm
they
gonna
bail
say that
us
straight
out,
up.
though, Slimmy? What if
how can they bail us out? How can they bail us out?
They created the banking system.
This is the banking system that was already put in place. And see, okay, let's go. Let's do this. So why every time every time somebody tries to break away from that banking system, they get smoked?
Because if you own the currency, why would you not want to keep people using
you got to answer the question.
Currency? Why would you not want to keep the control? Why would you not want to keep? I'm just saying,
answer the question.
But like if you understand, if at one point they were loaning money to a king and they stopped loaning money to the king, and instead they loaned the money to the land. That way they were guaranteed to get their money back from the people.
Nope. I need you to answer that.
They
I
have
need you
been
to answer
bailing our
that.
politicians out.
Why every
Otherwise they wouldn't
time?
have,
Why every time somebody tries to get away from this banking system, they get smoked, including one of our own presidents? Why every
because it's
time?
making the entire system run.
What?
They've been funding wars for centuries. They've been funding wars on both sides for centuries. They've been in control of the money and the money supply and the banking system. And if we take the gold from other countries and we bring it here to protect it in Texas or wherever, it's all a business, Slimmy. You have to, and it's been this way for centuries. That's the problem. This ain't
Okay,
new.
so
You
okay,
can't
so
just undo something that's been done for
you
centuries.
definitely can try something new. You definitely can try something new. You don't got to keep being in somebody's pocket. But my question is, what I'm saying
The
is,
only new thing we can
wait,
try
hold on,
is a
hold on,
bartering
Molly.
system where we don't include money, period, and you
Hold
just
on. No,
barter
that's
and
not true.
trade. That's it. That's
That-
the only way you can get
that's
out of their system.
that's not true. But the thing is, what I asked is, why are you eliminating? You smoked anybody who stands up against that. Why you gotta kill them?
Because you have to keep control.
But wait. But these aren't your countries.
What do you mean?
This isn't happening in your country. This is in other countries. In other
Which other
countries.
countries?
Molly.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking for more
I just told
context.
you right here in the United States.
Because we held a lot of the gold. We have the Federal Reserve. We have the US is an empire, but we're also baby England. So if you go back in New England and how we were founded and da 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 da, nothing much has changed. We're just finally seeing that the system is becoming outdated. It's always been like this. We just have a problem with it because we have more information than anybody from the past. So I mean, what are you gonna do? Like that, I understand what you're saying, I really do, but at the same time, nobody is ready to be done with the banking system. They own everything. They influence everything. What you gonna do?
All right, y'all. We got to go ahead and get to the next thing. Let me read some of the super chats, and then we're gonna go on from there. All right. Chris
I had a
Cool
15-minute
says,
soliloquy that I wanted to go on that y'all didn't let me get off.
"You
So
said
maybe
what
next
now?"
time. I had like a 15-minute soliloquy about all this that I wanted to go on, but maybe
Oh,
next
go
time.
ahead.
I have
Go
one
ahead.
too, Quinton.
Cat.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm just,
No.
I'm just kidding.
So cat.
I'm good.
Go
I don't want
ahead.
to talk about this for another. I don't want to talk about this for another 2 hours.
Okay, we got it. Can't take Trump seriously. It's always something with him. Puppet, says Chris Cool. Magnetar says, thank you, Slimmy. Finally, someone said it. By the way, let's all make USA job accounts. King Sunny says, in Iran funding Hamas, they started the war on October 7th. Chris Cool says, it's an extraction agenda from agenda. I don't know what the little icon is.
Yeah, what is that?
They pushing. I think it shows on YouTube differently. KL says, Slimmy, the CCP been developing biochemical weapons for years, my friend. So I don't think you are off one bit. Romy Rome 93 says, AD, you do be the main one talking about staying out of proxy wars. Julius Jermaine says, Slimmy, did you ever register to vote? Killer Bang says,
Yeah, I did.
backed politicians are the only ones that support Israel. So Anton is right. Is Queen to you too says it's being reported that Neera Tanden testified today. She is authorized to use Biden's auto pen from 1021 to 523 for document signing. Buckle up. Amerigo says Republican Thomas Massey, every Republican member of Congress has an AIPAC babysitter. Rico says the small caps definitely playing puppet master. Courtney Smith says actually Kamala does support Israel. She's paid more than Trump from AIPAC. It might be worse if Kamala had been president. Anton Watch Europa
Europa, The Last Bathe, 11-hour documentary. You can forget it, Q&A. I ain't never watched no 11-hour documentary. Amerigo says over 57,000 starving Gazans, women and children bombed with U.S. taxpayer dollars. The world hates us. Nitty77 says AD Slimmy is correct. You clearly don't know the whole history behind the Middle East. Another nigga just saying shit. Go do your research. G-Lock says it's all good until the deer gets a fire stick. Rage King Leo says the war was staged. All three sides wanted to look good. Papa Free says, what point in history did Iran become terrorists? High Tolerance says, in other words, U.S. is Cain and Israel is O-Dog. That's a good one. Rage King Leo says, thought was MAGA, not MEGA. King Sonny says, Israel don't run a banking system. The anti-Jews propaganda. Why did they type it like that? Pushed by far right, aka neo-Nazi. Courtney Smith says, to Sonny's point, Muammar Gaddafi was smoked for attempting to leave the system. Shout out to Sir Dr. Mr. says, I think Trump is worse for this Iran situation because he's the only one who convinced the same base that voted for no new wars to go to a useless foreign war. I know no one in this chat would support if Harris was in the exact same situation. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you for the 50 ball and for supporting the platform. McDyke says Western interference is the main cause of all of this. Iran wanted their own oil, but U.S. and U.K. says no and had a coup. That's the resentment people have with the United States of America. Carrington Love Jr. says, I stayed up late to see my girl, Island Girl Q, when she ain't even show. Come on, babe. What do you mean? She don't know.
Last night.
Oh, you talking about last night. Mom says, I need 2K to come speak that pimp gospel he was preaching earlier. Men are not meant to work for women, but for himself, his society as a whole, and God. Always only report above God, man, woman, and child. They call me Mr. Biz says, look up petrodollar. You will understand why we are always at war. Bob Brown says, AD play DL Hughley crashing out on TMZ. We can talk about that a little later if y'all want to talk about that. Coach says, what up, panel? Hi, Aunt Carrie. Legally Shay says, great comments. Poppy, I lost my phone. Shit. What the fuck is going on?
That sucks.
Me University says 1,000 years ago, a system was put in place to where certain families could stay in power. Despite wars, U.S. is the elite's bulldog and the number one consumer. Thank y'all, everybody, for supporting the platform. We appreciate y'all. But we have to move on to the next conversation. I will continue to read Super Chats throughout the show. So, B. Simone has been in the news a lot. And I wasn't even going to cover this personally, but I thought it would be interesting to have as a conversation on the panel. B. Simone is kind of under fire for two things. The first one is she's really three things, because people, it seems like, don't like B. Simone. But the first thing that she's under fire for is saying that she was going broke or something like that. I did see the clip, but I didn't want to have that a part of this. The second thing that she was going under fire for was her response or her sentiment to her friend being successful. I'll explain it in a second. So let me go ahead and share with you guys exactly what happened, or the clip. I was able to find it in its entirety instead of having it chopped up. And so this is what happened.
God is going to bring that back tenfold. But just, that was another point in our relationship.
Yeah.
Recently, I have this opportunity and I called you and I told you about it. And you were just like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you called me back.
I called her right back, y'all. I was so convicted. I was so convicted.
You were like, I didn't like how I felt when you told me that. And I was like, what do you mean? You were like, I don't know what it is. I'm talking this out in real time. But whatever it is, I don't like what I felt. And I said, did you feel jealous? And you were like, I don't think I feel jealous. But like, will we be able to do what we did before?
Yeah.
Will it happen for us again?
Yeah.
And that's when that's how we got on the conversation of you letting go of the hurt and not being traumatized by your past.
Because we went through all the emotions. Like, are you angry? Are you sad? Are you jealous? I was like, I'm not jealous because I don't want what you have. I'm sad and I'm angry and I'm upset that I'm not doing it with me.
Yeah.
Like, we're not working together.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have that y'all, let me tell you something. Anybody that's in my circle, I want to work with you. I want to put you on. I'm putting you in position. I like doing it together.
You do.
How can we do this together? How can we make money together? How can we build together? How can we grow together? How can we all pitch in together? How can we be millionaires? I want to do it together.
Yeah.
And there was a point in my life where I had that and it was crumbled. So I feel like since that has ended, that season, I've always yearned for it again.
So B. Simone is kind of under fire for a lot of the things that she said during this recent podcast. What up, 2K? How you feel, big dog?
What's up with it, Brody?
Chilling. So what are your thoughts about everything that people are saying about B. Simone, the things that she said? I don't know if y'all actually watched any of that, but that was a quick clip of it. What are y'all thoughts about B. Simone, bro?
Who is B. Simone? I don't know.
B. Simone is like a comedian / content creator. I think she was on Wild 'N Out for a while. Then she went and created her own platform. And so she's just like kind of a person that kind of blew up in the movement of content creation and all of that other type of stuff. But I believe that she is like, she's started and stopped different podcasts and stuff like that. But she has a pretty decent sized following. At one point, she kind of transitioned into, or right now, she's trying to transition into the whole spiritual thing. Hey, it's on God. I don't want to be in the streets no more. I'm waiting for my husband type of stuff and all of that type of stuff. So,
you said, what are our thoughts about what people are saying? Like, what are people saying about her?
They just responded negatively to her. They responded negatively to everything that she's saying that she shouldn't have responded like that, all of that type of stuff.
I didn't like the energy that they was giving B. Simone, bro, for not helping her friend. Cause Anton, you can speak specifically to this. Nobody helped you, but everybody is entitled to your money. And like on one of Meek Mill verses, Meek Mill say, never count another person's pocket thinking that you deserve it. And that's exactly what this is. You was looking at my finances thinking you deserved it, but wasn't looking at the risks I take, the mouths I feed, the bills I pay. You just know I'm a millionaire. And you think when something bad happened to you, your millionaire friend's supposed to bail you out. Anton, how many people have you bailed out on this stage?
On that I know from content?
Yeah, like on this stage, just in general. Because you are a millionaire friend.
But I don't want to get into that. I don't want to.
But I'm saying though, like I can't not pay my rent and think that you supposed to cover down because you a millionaire. And that's
I would definitely send you the bag.
I wouldn't ask you.
But it doesn't matter. If I found out, I would absolutely send you the bag.
I mean, I don't think she done nothing wrong. I really think that that's abuse, friendship abuse. Like me counting your money for you. Yes. Anton a fucking millionaire. He'll never hear about one of my bills. Not one time. Because that's not why he my friend. I'm not for to be counting his bag for me. That's bad friendship.
That's not what she was under fire for, though.
What's she talking about with money? Counting money, huh?
She was under fire for a lot. So her friend was saying in the last 12 months, she had to move back in with her mom. She became a single mom, had to go on food stamps, like all these other things. And I think that the reason that it hurt her so badly is because she said she saw B. Simone doing for other people. So it's not like she wasn't giving money away. She just wasn't giving it to her friend. And I think it's one thing if you're, let's say you're a millionaire, granted, you can do whatever you want to do with your money, but it's one thing if you're a millionaire and you are hoarding your money, but if you're just giving it away to people on the street, but you're watching your best friend suffer and you're just like, I hope that works out for you.
But I got a lot of trouble for saying there's beauty in suffering.
So there was another clip because that's okay.
Oh, so they want the clip?
So that friend is the one who was homeless?
Yeah.
So now she's making money? Like, because should we be playing another clip in time?
I'm confused. I don't know what the fuck.
I gotta find it.
My fault. I'm talking about something else.
I thought that was the clip. I was talking on mute because Sarah had called me. I thought that was the clip. My fault.
That's all.
What's the timestamp? When I find a timestamp, I'll go into it. I didn't see that. I gotta find a timestamp because it don't have no.
Hey, this nigga was locked and loaded on the whole different.
I'm so missing.
Hey, cuz you gotta have this shit ready, right? You never know.
was ready to go. Hold up.
Here, somebody just sent me a timestamp. I'm gonna see if that's it. I'm gonna just play it real quick. Give me a second. Let me throw it up on the screen.
Jesus.
It said, I'm like, you watching your friend go down and you'll give money to the people around her and just watch her go? Like that looks real cool.
I'm your friend, but I'm not gonna be your baby daddy.
No,
I feel like today I was weeping in prayer. I was like, God, help me.
I woke up. That was my alarm this morning.
I can't believe you heard me.
Oh, I woke up and you were like going at it. Jazz called and she's like, "Where's Braylon? Like, we have a phone call." I was like, "Baby, it's gonna be another 30 minutes." She is in there wailing.
Wow.
Yeah, you were gone. I was like, I'm not going in there knocking on the door because she's in her bag right now.
Wow. All I kept saying was, help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus. Help me fight spiritually, help me fight. So I feel like my answer is in what is happening in the spiritual realm. I feel like I am attacking something that I can't see right now.
Wow.
That's what I feel like. That's what I feel like.
I know.
You feel like you're attacking something you can't see.
This is a timestamp. Let me see if I can scrub through real quick. Give me a second.
It definitely was the topic. I thought that it was the trending topic of this whole interview.
I'll find it. I'm gonna find it. Give me a second.
Well, that first part, she sounded terrible. I ain't gonna lie.
Like, we could just talk about that, Anton.
I mean, and then just think, if you add those two parts together, so one, you watch your best friend suffer. Two, she's starting to come up and she's like, "Oh, I got this great opportunity," and you're just like, "Oh." Like, it just looks absolutely insane.
It's not though, because if that's like when Anton tell me, bro, I just got off live with blah blah blah. Oh, it's just my successful homeboy being successful.
Right, but this girl was not.
No, it was the reverse role. It was the reverse.
Right. This girl was struggling to live on her own, to take care of her kids. She said she got her car repossessed and all that kind of stuff. And this is all within the last 12 months. So she starts to come up. She tells you about this good opportunity that she's getting. And your response is, "Oh." I think that's weird. I mean, at the very least, for her, I'd be happy that she's putting her life back together.
I think a lot of women are frenemies, though.
Facts.
Like, a lot of women can be friends.
I found it. All right. I had to scrub through it and find it. Give me a second. So this is it right here.
I mean, this was the hardest season of my life this last year. And sometimes from the public perception, it's like being a best friend with a celebrity. Everybody thinks that, oh, because you're connected to this person, then your life is just as grand as theirs, or you got
it, or they helping you.
Baby, when I tell you, didn't have a job, living with my parents, a single mom, all this happened to me this past year.
Jesus.
And then it's like to not have resentment in my heart towards you because I saw you do this for other people. I saw you give a check to somebody to help them through whatever they went through. And it's like, God, like, I left from that's my soul. And I can't get nobody didn't give me a handout. But guess what? That wasn't your responsibility. God had to take me through that for my own season, for my own thing. I had to get my car repossessed.
Jesus.
I had to go through the food stamps line. I had to be on Medicaid. Because whatever I'm building my story too. But it's like, as a friend somebody who has it, it's hard to digest because everybody around you, nobody would they're probably shocked that I'm even saying this right now. All this year.
In less than 12 months.
What?
There's the clip. So I had to go find it, and that's the clip that I think that everybody is talking about. There you go.
That is the clip. Bro, I just don't think that I don't give a fuck. As your bestie, I don't care. My job as your bestie is not to bail you out financially, because guess what? I'm gonna have to do it next month and the month after. I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna help you through it, but I won't do the work. The work, the lesson from the work is what you need to be taking from me. I don't care if I got the million. I'm like B. Simone, Jesus. And if you giving me some pussy, I'm going to say, damn, that's crazy. That's all that is. If that girl called me and tell me about all her bills, I'm texting her back. Damn, that's crazy. What you want me to do?
You gotta throw her something, but you don't have to
No,
save
I
her
don't.
life.
You know why I don't got to
That's
throw her
your
nothing?
bestie, though. That's your
Molly,
bestie.
nobody threw
Something.
me nothing.
So because
Something to keep the baby comfortable.
I grew
Something.
from it. Kimmy, I grew. When I overcame that situation, it showed me that I can overcome the situation over and over and over. If Anton give me some, next time I need some, I'm not going to know how to do. I'm going to go back to Anton. You got to go do this shit on your own.
I'm gonna save my comments on this one to last. I want to hear what y'all got to say.
Jesus.
You a man, though. That's how y'all kind of have to move.
No,
it's not so bad if you a woman supporting another woman, but just because you my bestie, I'm not about to finance your lifestyle because you picked the wrong man.
Listen, if you my woman, that's different. If you they girl, that's different. Business, don't give a fuck about gender. Business is not gender specific. I don't care that you is a struggling woman. This is a business. Get your shit together.
But here's the thing. You don't know why she ended up where she ended up, right?
I don't care because this is a business.
Wrong man.
You could say, okay, she made bad decisions, but let's just say she was married. She had this child. Her husband gets killed. He was paying all the bills. She was a stay-at-home mom. So now she has no job. She's a single mom. She's moving in with her parents. Now she's on food stamps. You telling me you could sit there and watch that happen and be like, I'll give money to the person next door to you, but not to you, my best friend.
As your neighbor, as your boyfriend, as somebody from the community, I will help you. You telling me about your problem, about your business, I don't give a fuck about. I ask my wife. I do not help my wife in her business. That is up to her. I will help her when she proves it to me. I'm basically her investor, but I don't give her shit because she's my wife when it comes to business. Now, when she needs something for her day-to-day life, baby, here you go. But when it comes to business, you got to show me that you are a business person. I don't care
about the business. She was looking for the everyday
She was looking for a fucking handout. That's what she was looking for, a handout. And all she got was a Jesus.
She said her friend is not responsible for her. So she wasn't looking for a handout. But I think to be a friend and to watch your friends suffer like that and to just do absolutely nothing when you can and you do for strangers is just weird.
What is it? If I'm a business and I want to donate to some fucking children and I have made enough money to donate to mind your business. That's why your shit failing, because you trying to keep up with my pockets.
This is how man brain and women brain is different.
This is a business brain. Fuck the gender.
That typically is more masculine because women are more empathetic.
Business.
What you say?
When did she say, I'm looking for your business to do something for me? I'm looking for you to hire me. She's like, I'm looking
for a handout.
I'm looking for you to be here as my friend. And even when she's getting back on her feet and she calls and says, hey, I got this great opportunity, your response is still lackadaisical.
Anton, pull that girl picture up. She got all that pussy to sell. Don't tell me about shit. Pull her fine ass. You see that little fine shit right there? You can get about $400-500 for her. Don't tell me about your fucking condo. You ain't did the work. If you won't sell it, don't tell it. I don't care to hear. You're not even willing to die about your situation. Get your fine ass on your back. Show me you want this shit. You gonna drip or drown.
Wow.
I want to be like these women all on these podcasts. I am not rich. If y'all ever see me struggling, just know I ain't rich. It's normal. I don't ever want to. I'm just a normal Joe.
I want to hear everybody's perspective on this before I even comment.
I'll say this: that ain't her friend. I'm just gonna straight up say that ain't her friend. I'm sorry. It's not how friends move. Like, nah, it ain't crazy. Cause if I tell my homeboy I done came up like that, and he just like, oh, block. I ain't fucking with you. Like, that's some sucker shit. Like, nigga,
you count
what?
my pockets thinking that you want some is sucker shit.
Bruh, nobody talking about
your problems is sucker
no,
shit.
you missing it. You missing it. You missing it. Stop skipping steps and stop adding things that nobody said. We talking about her reaction when this woman said she brought herself up from nothing. Your response is, oh, hell no. I don't fuck with nobody like that.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
even
glad.
if,
I'm glad that we played both clips because both clips kind of show the sentiment in the relationship that they have. On one clip, which the one that showed first, actually, she was saying that B Simone wasn't necessarily happy for her when she had got some good news. All right. On the other
yeah,
clip, she was saying that she was going through some shit, but she kind of was like, paying attention, like, damn, you're doing all of this for these people, but I'm the one your day one. But it's okay because I don't feel like you owe me anything in order to get me through it because I had to go through this to get to where I go through. So that's the full context of both clips kind of put together. I don't know if that helps.
yeah, and there was no sentiment at all. Even after all that, B Simone still wasn't just like, damn, you know what, girl, you did do that. Congratulations. I ain't even like what? Like nothing?
Maybe she's
Nothing?
jealous she had a baby. Women get weird like that. B
Nah, you
Simone
can't. Don't
wants
shoot
a
her no
man and
bell.
some
Don't shoot her
kids,
no
and her
bell.
friend is having a baby. Women
Nah,
just
don't
get
shoot her
weird
no
like that,
bell. That
though.
is not your friend.
I
That is
know,
not
I
your
agree.
friend.
I said women
So
can be frenemies, though. We're okay knowing that we're not really friends, but we'll still be friends.
so because I didn't have an emotional reaction to you
It's not an
prospering,
emotional reaction.
because
Nobody
I didn't
said
have
that.
a reaction besides
No,
Jesus.
no,
I,
no.
so Anton told me he make $1 million today. You want me to dance? Do my little happy dance for Anton?
Man, bro, why is it gotta be something extreme?
It's
Why
not.
are you going to the extreme?
Listen, when she told B Simone, what is the correct reaction, Slimmy?
You could have clapped. You could do anything. You could say anything. You could do anything. You could say anything. She
That's
said, oh.
bullshit. I
So
don't
She's
are
have
you
to
going,
Jesus.
do that.
oh,
Isn't she?
2K, I done seen you. I done seen you on this panel give up more props to somebody than that.
Because I
She
was proud
said,
of that
oh.
nigga. But I don't have to do that.
We're not talking about what you have to do. We talking about your homegirl just sat here and poured her heart out to you about what she came up on, how she came up. You sitting on a platform with her and you still didn't acknowledge that
Who
shit.
gives a
That ain't your
fuck?
fucking friend.
Listen,
That's all we talking about. They ain't friends, my nigga.
Slimmy, let me show you. When Anton showed us how much he made in a month, I got excited because it was genuinely exciting to me. Q didn't bust a fucking move. That don't mean that Q not his friend. Q was happy too. He just don't care to show it. Am I a bad friend because I don't show it?
You got it, bro.
I know I do.
This sad, man. I can see it with your homeboys, but with women, you know that should be different. But that's why I always say women are horrible friends. They're horrible friends, man. I'm sorry. They are just horrible friends. They are fickle creatures. They can't get right.
I feel personally that I have an obligation. I know I don't owe anybody, and I know that nobody feels as though I owe them anything. But I also feel an obligation to make sure that my friends win if I'm winning. I personally, and this is me personally, I'm not saying that anything is wrong with 2K is saying. I understand 100% what 2K is saying. At the same time, I believe that it's necessary for me to make sure that everybody that I help, and it's not even just about like, because let's be clear, let's be very, very clear. I believe that you guys more than pull your weight. I believe that y'all are absolutely contributing to the success of what we do here. So it's not like it's one sided. You know what I'm saying? I don't ever feel as though, yeah, I did all of this as far as what we're building over here on this platform. And so I believe that in the same way that y'all pour into me, it's important for me to do my best to make sure that everybody else is successful also. And I think that that's what makes us great together, is because we truly want to see each other win. You know what I'm saying? So, but I do feel the need, I do feel pressure to make sure that I create the space for us to be able to really, really get there. So it just is what it is.
I don't know.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you got. I love to hear Carrie talk. Please.
I think that I'm only gonna go from what I saw. I don't know any other backstory or anything like that. But from what I saw, I think we saw a genuine friendship. I think that we saw a conversation between two people who, like the clip would be Simone saying that she was just like, oh, when her friend got, all the good news. I thought that was just she was just being honest. And she clearly knew that there was something wrong with what her knee-jerk expression was. So she called her friend back. And I think now I don't know if she apologized for it, because I didn't hear her say, like, I called you back and apologized. She said, I called you back and said I didn't feel good about that. But I think the fact that she was able to call her back and they were able to talk through it, and her friend was able to help talk her through it, to me, that's real friendship. And sometimes you got to work through that. Like I have definitely had to work through feelings of coveting and envy and jealousy many a times in my adult life. And it wasn't until I could call it out to myself that I could really start dealing with it. And, some people are like, I don't care what people got. I don't care about other people's lives. If that's not your fight, that's not your battle, that's wonderful. But for some people, that's a real thing.
See, Karen, that was my problem. When she said that word, she said, I had to fight back resentment for you. That, to me, that indicted her.
That was a right thing for her to feel, right? So I do like that she acknowledged it and she, said what it was. But
that reaction
to me, go ahead.
No, that reaction is unnatural. That's the reaction of a hater. That show me your entitlement to my hard work.
And here's the thing. All of that might be true. That might, if that's how you label it, that's cool. But regardless of, clearly that is what she honestly felt. And I think as a friend, I mean, I can't stop my feeling before it comes, purely because I love you and I shouldn't feel that way. Like if I feel a negative feeling towards a person I love or like, I'm gonna feel it and then I have to deal with it. And I think that B. Simone felt what she felt, realized, this isn't right, and she is now dealing with it. And I think it's a blessing that she has a friend who she can talk about it with. Now, here's the other thing. And again, this is just my perspective on when you do decide. I know some people clowned her for saying that she really is working on her relationship with God, and some people might think it's content or whatever. But again, I'm taking everything at face value. So assuming that that's true, I personally believe that when God draws you to him, you're going to have to face a lot of yourself that needs to change. You're going to have to go through and look at you for all of who you are. And you're not going to like all of it. It's not going to all feel good. You might even have to grieve some of who you are. And so I think what she's also receiving is a real reflection of who she may have been showing up as all along the way. So to me, that's all happening with her. I think it's real. With the friend, what she said about, watching someone else, I'm sorry. The assumption is that because you have a friend who's a millionaire, successful, you are too. Can totally understand that. And even though B. Simone has helped other people and she didn't necessarily help her friend, what I didn't hear the friend say was, I asked you for help and you didn't help me, you helped them. So there's a big difference. So like, for instance, let's take Anton. I believe that Anton would help any of us out, any of us, if we asked. But if we don't ask and we don't say anything, Anton's not going to help beyond what he thinks. But Anton might go help somebody else tenfold because they asked or because he saw the actual need. So I think it's kind of unfair to hold B. Simone accountable for like watching her friend suffer and not helping her out, but she helped somebody else out, which is probably a part of the reason why her friend was like, I'm not mad at it, you know, and this is my journey. This is what God put me on. And I respect that. So let's assume she has a relationship with God. I can appreciate her saying, listen, this is my cross to bear. This is my road to walk. I got to get myself out of this situation. So I just think that it was a pretty healthy conversation that they were both able to have, because if either one of them would have had you hating, you this, you that type of an attitude, that wouldn't have been able to take place. So
now, to your point, Carrie, B. Simone did say later on in that podcast, because the girl was saying how her grandmother died, and what B. Simone said was, let me know if you need anything, like if you want flowers or something. And the girl said, that's not what I wanted to hear. I wanted you to just show up with the flowers. And B. Simone was just kind of like, oh, you wanted me to, I guess, show up without permission, for lack of better words, like show up without being invited. So that's not, it appears not to be who B. Simone is, just in general. Like she just doesn't show up without being invited. So I do understand you saying like maybe her friend didn't ask. I get that. I just know I could not do that.
Well, and to me, that's where the whole dynamic of how people are naturally comes into play. And not for nothing, if B. Simone, like again, this to me is reflection time for B. Simone, right? So clearly she was impacted that her and her friend weren't doing this together. A lot of her and her friends doing stuff together, I guess, was the result of her success in being able to bring people along. So what B. Simone may be faced with is, listen, if you're the type of person who wants to go the go with other people, then you're gonna have to learn how to do X, Y, and Z. So she may have to learn how to be more this way or learn how to be more that way if she wants to get those types of results, which I think that's a fair dialogue to have with people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I think it was a fair conversation.
I can kind of agree with that. But then also another part of that conversation, B. Simone was saying that, let's say she hires these people to be a part of her app or podcast or whatever it is. And she's saying, oh, I'm building female leaders, but what I'm looking for, what I want as my employees are not women who are going to build themselves up so much that they'll leave. Like they need to be a leader under me, kind of like stay here and work. That's the commitment that I'm looking for.
Yeah, I seen that part too. I did see that part of the show also.
And that I don't, you know, from what you're saying, again, this might be a part of that might be a part of the part of her that is going to have to change. You know what I'm saying? Like she may have to look herself in the face and be like, okay, I thought friendship was based off of this. I thought friendship was based off of that. It's not. And then here's the other thing. Side note, I think a lot of people during the COVID run, maybe from like 2020 to maybe 2022, there was a lot of people who saw a lot of money run through their bank accounts, and it appears to be changing and slowing down now. So there's probably quite a lot of people who are now having to do some reflecting and introspection now that their money has changed and dynamics have changed and all of that. So she's probably going through quite a few challenges right now. So right. I think it's cool that she has a understanding enough friend to talk it out with.
Being y'all friends shouldn't be this high, man.
It's not.
I'm telling you, bro, y'all just made this shit sound worse than a relationship. I got to know when to show up. What you say, Myron? You on mute, bro.
Oh no, I was talking to I'm on stream. I was talking to them. I didn't want to interrupt what you guys were saying. Did you guys ask me something?
Oh no. I thought you were talking.
No. I want to get your thoughts. I didn't. Well, first of all, I appreciate you for coming through, bro. Thank you for.
Yeah, no worries.
I want to get your thoughts. What are your thoughts?
On I saw the Trump with Israel and Iran, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I made a tweet about this, but the long story short is, Trump is trying to get a Nobel Peace Prize here. And realistically speaking, though he is getting a ceasefire brokered, it's not going to end the conflict at all. Anyone that understands how long this conflict's been going on, we're talking about, 3 to 4 decades now at this point since the Iranian Revolution, understands that this is just a temporary ceasefire until, both parties can kind of replenish themselves and engage in warfare again. And the big reason why is because Israel miscalculated Iran's ability to destroy them. And what I mean by this is Iran has a very sophisticated ballistic missile program. Israel does have, competent air defense with the Sling and the Iron Dome and the Arrow. But the problem is that for every missile that Israel needs to shoot to intercept an Iranian missile coming in, it costs them significantly more money to defend themselves than it costs for Iran to attack them. So in the battle of attrition, had it went longer, we're talking about Tel Aviv and Haifa getting completely leveled and destroyed. And, it's interesting because Western media didn't really document the damage that was done in Tel Aviv or in Haifa. But the Iranians absolutely did do a significant amount of damage. I mean, they were shooting hypersonic missiles over there, which can't be stopped by these air defense. They did quite a bit of damage. But the thing is that a lot of people don't know this. There was a blackout thing put in place by the Israeli government where the press could not take video or pictures of the damage because that would allow the Iranians to get more precise coordinates so they can be more accurate with their next attack. So Israel had like a big censorship program that they were pushing where they didn't want the journalists and the media to publish. Obviously, video still got out there, etc., but they were suppressing it. Now, with that said, I do want to say also that Israel did a very good job of damaging Iran's capability to defend themselves as well. They ran a Mossad operation behind enemy lines. They were able to go ahead and destroy a good amount of their air defense, jam radars, launch drone attacks. So they did a significant amount of damage to Iran as well. But if we were, the longer the battle would have played out in that mode where it was Israeli airstrikes followed by Iranian missiles towards Israel, Israel would have lost that fight because it cost them significantly more money to defend themselves than it cost Iran to attack them. So that's kind of the gist of why the ceasefire was brokered. And then the other thing too, also I think that's important, is like this entire conflict was because of the nuclear program that Iran has. There's there's credible info out there that Iran moved a lot of the critical infrastructure when it comes to enriching uranium to 90% and getting the weapon well before the United States attacked them. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if Iran didn't have other facilities or they didn't have a nuclear program somewhere else, maybe even in another foreign country ally where they're running their program. So, a lot of this was smoke and mirrors. A lot of this was, show of force, etc. But there's no way that the Iranians didn't move their stuff out. And assuming they did, let's assume best case scenario that the Americans and Israelis did a good job and they destroyed their nuclear infrastructure. It doesn't matter. The regime's not going to change. They have the capability to remake their nuclear program because they've mastered the uranium centrifuge cycle. And they know how to enrich uranium and get a warhead. So they can still do it. It might take them a year or two, but unless they remove the regime, which is what Israel really wants to do, they're not going to, it's just going to be a temporary ceasefire.
So you don't think that they're actually going to have a long-term peace deal that is brokered as a result of them getting a ceasefire that's in place right now?
No way. And the reason for that is because Israel wants a regime change. Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israelis will stop at nothing to get rid of the Ayatollah and try to topple the government. Now, what they were hoping when they did their operation 2 weeks ago was that they would cripple the Iranian infrastructure, the higher ups, make them panic, and then that would create the opportunity for the separatist groups within Iran to overthrow the government. But what actually happened was it backfired. The Iranian people got behind the Iranian government because even though a lot of them don't like the Iranian regime, they hate Israel more. So Israel's attempt to, divide the civilian population actually backfired because, keep in mind that when they got attacked while in the middle of diplomacy with the United States. And the attack was a sneak attack, and it was obviously very severe. So Iran took that as a very big attack against their national security. And since they were attacked first, the people rallied behind the government to defend themselves. And that is why people took to the streets after Iran was attacked and said, we need a retaliation towards Israel. And they did it within 18 hours and they hit them pretty hard. Obviously, the media covered that, but both parties did a significant amount of damage to each other, for sure.
What do you think the long-term result is, if you had to guess, based off of what you see happening right now?
Okay, sure. So this is what's going to happen. On the Iranian side, they're going to work even harder to get a nuclear program. And the reason why is because having a nuclear bomb is going to be the only way that they could deter Israel and the United States from trying to effectuate a regime change. You know, you look at North Korea, for example, they have a nuclear bomb, though they're enemies. Since they have a nuclear bomb, we can't really do anything to them because of mutually assured destruction, right? So I predict that the Iranians are going to work towards getting a nuclear bomb even more so now. Diplomacy, I think, is pretty much finished. Anything that does happen from a diplomacy angle is going to be feigning just to buy more time. And I think with the Israelis, they're going to, heavily leverage and lean on their intelligence assets like Mossad, Oman, etc., to try to impose a regime change from within. But I don't see that as successful because, to be able to do that, they're going to need to get boots on the ground. And we already know what happened with Iraq War, V2 in 2003. So the Israelis want a regime change and they're going to try to leverage their intelligence agencies to do so. They got Mossad operatives already calling people in the Iranian Guard at the high level saying, we're going to kill you if you don't, defect with the Iranian government, etc. So we'll see what happens. But that's what I predict the next two, what each party is going to do in the next few months, given the ceasefire.
What would you grade Trump as far as his job in office as of right now for the 6 months that he's been in for a second term?
The foreign policy has been bad. I'll be honest. I can admit that I voted for Trump, and a big reason why I voted for him was, I didn't want any new wars. But obviously the Zionist lobby is too powerful in America and they pushed them towards this conflict. Anyone that tells you otherwise is just lying. And that's the problem. A lot of these political commentators on the conservative side, they're owned by the Zionist lobby. They run the media, whatever. We're on YouTube, so I'll keep it there. But, when it comes to the foreign policy, so he didn't negotiate the end of the conflict with Russia and Ukraine, right? And this is why he struck that mineral deal with Zelensky, because he understood that we're spending a ridiculous amount of money supporting Ukraine when they're losing. They've lost like 1 million soldiers now at this point. So he's like, you know what? If we're going to continue to support you guys, we need to get some of the revenue from the minerals. So that's why they kind of struck that deal. We're still giving them aid because he doesn't see, a conclusion to the situation within the next few years. That's why I think he brokered that mineral.
That's a longer term deal. That's hoping that we recoup, assuming that we then at some point actually end the war with Russia, right?
Absolutely. Yep. It's exactly, that's precisely what it is. It's to recoup the money that's lost so that while we continue to aid them, we don't go in the hole as bad. I guess Trump kind of underestimated how bad the situation was, thinking that he can broker peace, saying I can do it in 24 hours. It's Russia's winning the conflict. So the United States and Ukraine has to make a lot of concessions, and Zelensky is pretty delusional with some of his demands with Russia. And then as far as, this conflict in Ukraine, I would argue that brought us back, this conflict with Iran, that brought us back a step because, Iran and Russia are allies, and this is going to, make it even harder for peace talks with Ukraine and Russia. So I think him even being involved with a limited sense with just bombing the nuclear sites, I still think that was a bad move towards diplomacy, not just on the Iranian front with the Middle East, but it also did set us back a bit with the Russia-Ukraine conflict as well, because right after this conflict happened, the foreign minister of Iran actually met with President Putin to discuss strategy. And whenever they say strategy, that means military, nuclear bombs, and intelligence agencies every single time.
Okay. So what's next? What do you think is next as far as because of course, obviously they saying that the ceasefire is holding up. It hasn't even been 24 hours, but the ceasefire is holding up so far. So you think that
confusion where I guess a rocket got across after the ceasefire and there was a bunch of anger and stuff like that. And Trump was really pissed off this morning because they almost resumed the war. I'll say this, Israel breaks ceasefires all the time. They did it with Lebanon and Hezbollah. They did it with Gaza and Hamas. They should have been they should have been done with the conflict in Gaza, but they pulled out of the ceasefire there because there was a 3-part deal with it that Trump negotiated, but Israel only completed the first part of the deal and then ignored the other ones. That's very important to know that the Israelis typically don't negotiate for ceasefires unless they're losing or they cannot continue the warfare that it is. So the only reason they agreed to this ceasefire is because they knew the longer that the conflict would happen, Iran's missiles will start to pierce more and more into their airspace. And we're talking about the destruction of Tel Aviv and Haifa. So that's why they agreed. But I think that they're going to take this time to rebuild, get more money, replenish, and then start another conflict with Iran. There's no way at this point that they're not going to continue to push for regime change. And I think Iran on their side is going to work even harder and more aggressively to get a nuclear bomb to defend themselves, because it's very obvious now at this point that regardless, they're going to consistently say, you guys have a nuclear bomb. So they might as well get one now to actually deter, because the whole purpose of nuclear weapons isn't actually to destroy other countries. It's to show that you're capable of destroying other countries so they don't destroy you.
Yeah. Let me ask you a personal question, Myron.
Yeah.
You really in your bag when it comes to world issues, political issues. Obviously, we seen the defense rest with the Diddy case, and so you were really engaged when it came.
Yeah, I was just covering that just a second ago.
Yeah, you really involved in that. Where do you see yourself going as a content creator? Because
you left
it's
out one.
Almost like, huh?
You left out one.
What do you mean?
You left out stupid women.
Well, no, but see, that's the question that I'm asking, is because I see you continuing to evolve as a content creator, in which you're covering way more subjects, and it's almost like I see you doing a lot of in-person debates and having conversations with people that you give the opportunity for people to be able to come up and express their thoughts, whether it become whether it's about politics or whether it's about relationships. Where do you see yourself evolving into as far as a content creator?
That's a good question. I've thought about this. I think for me, I think being diversified is really the best way to avoid stagnation. Many know that I used to work in law enforcement, which is why I, have the interest that I have when it comes to criminal cases, especially at the federal level. I mean, hell, the people that are running the case against Diddy right now is the agency I used to work for. So I'm very familiar with, the way they do their investigations and the squad that ran the case and everything like that. And then on the other side, right, I'm really interested in, politics and, foreign affairs, especially when it comes to the Middle East, because my thing is I'm a hardcore American patriot, right? I'm a very big nationalist. I think, America's the best country in the world. And, I love this country. I've served this country, put my life on the line for this country. And I think for us to address some of the problems, I think one of the biggest problems we have in America is that we are occupied by a foreign government that runs our foreign policy. And for people to understand this properly, you must understand Middle Eastern foreign politics, because once you understand Middle Eastern foreign politics, then you can understand how our country is being subverted for the bidding of another government. I saw someone in your chat said that I'm an Islamist. No, I'm just a realist and a pragmatist. And the problem is that in Western media and in American media, up until recently, we haven't been told this information, or we haven't been told the truth about how our foreign policy really works. And the reality is that our foreign policy is run by a small group of people that have ulterior motives that might not necessarily be America first. A lot of people like to say, oh, I'm an America first, America first. I'll take it a step further. I'm America only. And when I say that, I mean, we need to have a 100% non-foreign conflict involvement with our foreign policy, where we're only involved in international trade and things from a peaceful perspective. No more foreign wars. And if you look at all the wars that we've had, especially with this war on terror, there's one common denominator, and it's the state of Israel. So that's kind of what I've prided myself on with when it comes to politics, is kind of talking about this a bit more and educating the American public on this, because it's been suppressed for so long. And I think there's, a very important distinction that needs to be made, that, this isn't necessarily a Jewish problem. This is a Zionist problem and an occupation problem of our government. And it's very important to be precise and be able to identify the real problem versus having this collective punishment ideology of let's go after an entire people. When in reality, a lot of the Zionists are evangelical Christians. There's a lot of Jewish people that are, that talk about these problems, like Max Blumenthal, Glenn Greenwald, comic Dave Smith, Norman Finkelstein. These guys are all Jewish, and they've been speaking about the atrocity that are going on with our foreign policy. So I think it's very important to be very specific and talk about certain topics and talk about it in a way where you can educate the people and give them a different perspective on that. So that's those are some of my interests and kind of why I go into them. Obviously, the true crime stuff, because what I used to do, the foreign policy, because it's something that we don't educate the American public about more. I think a lot of Americans don't know what their government is doing with our tax dollars and doing a bunch of bullshit. And then, obviously, debating the women, that's something that I do all the time as well, too, because something that a lot of guys can identify with, right? With the fuckery of modern women. So, yeah.
Do you ever lose interest in dealing with or debating women?
It does get monotonous at times because it ends up becoming the same typical debate. But, every time I do it and I get annoyed, I remind myself that there's someone that's probably seeing this for the first time, that's probably being exposed to these concepts for the first time. So, so some people might say it's redundant. I think it's very important because there's more guys waking up every single day, right? A new guy is Googling how to get back my girlfriend, or why did she leave me, or why did I get divorced, or why did she cheat on me? There's a new guy Googling that every single day. And they find content like mine, find content like yours, and we provide the answers to these guys because, unfortunately, this is a big problem for a lot of men. And I predict as social media becomes more advanced, as we become more and more attached to our phones, as online dating and social media becomes more and more prominent as a way to meet people, this problem is only going to be exacerbated. It's going to get worse because, unfortunately, when you go on the internet and you use dating apps or you use Instagram, whatever, that puts the ball in the women's court, right? Because the men are the ones approaching them. And what ends up happening is a majority of men just end up becoming invisible to a majority of women, right? And I've kind of figured this out from years of talking to different women. We've talked to almost 4,000 women now. The startling reality that I'm starting to see as I talk to more and more women, especially, women that are 18, 19, younger women, is the average man no longer qualifies for the average woman, right? I meet girls, they're average, nothing special about them, typical background, etc. But when I ask them, what do you want in return? They're expecting an exceptional man, right? And I do think a big part of this is because of the social media climate, the internet, the ease of meeting people. All of this is kind of increase women's standards without them necessarily reciprocating on their end and becoming exceptional women. They want exceptional men while bringing an average, individual to the relationship.
Let me ask you one more question. This whole B. Simone conversation, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but a lot of it is tied around her responsibility, so to speak, or people's perception of her responsibility to actually help her friend who was not necessarily as financially well off as her. As a person that kind of leads a platform in which you employ multiple different people, when you kind of had the responsibility of making sure that people get paid and stuff like that, how do you feel about the whole responsibility as a person that is a leader or is generating a lot of revenue to help friends out or to put people on or to make sure that other people are successful also? How do you feel about that whole sentiment and what other people believe is the responsibility of a person that is a breadwinner?
Yeah. I think it's your duty. One of the things that I've really been big on is, obviously when I got my start on YouTube in the red pill space with certain YouTubers, as Fresh Fit became bigger and bigger and became a bit more mainstream and kind of got out of that, single red pill niche. One of the things we've prided ourselves on is we bring those guys that helped us get put on and grow our channel in the early stages. We like to bring them back on the show and expose them to our more mainstream audience that they might have otherwise not been able to get exposed to. And I look at that as kind of, I call it retracting the ladder back, where the people that helped you get up, you don't retract the ladder, rather you keep the ladder there so they can come up and you help them up. I'm real big on that, right? I've brought a lot of people on that, for the first time they're getting out in front of a mainstream audience, but I think that that's kind of my duty, where if we make it, the people that helped us get there, we should bring them up too. Now, I know some people, they'll make it and then they'll retract the ladder, right? And then they won't let those people come up with them because they want to be the star. I think that's a very bad way to move, because what ends up happening is you basically say, oh, I can't bring them up because they're going to be too powerful and I'll lose my influence. No, bring them up and then let the better man win. But a lot of people don't have that foresight. They kind of look at it like, oh, I made it, they helped me, but I'm not going to bring that up. So that's my take on it. I do think that if you're the guy where a bunch of people are around you and they helped you get to that position, I think it's treacherous to not help them and bring them up alongside you. Because honestly, I look at it like, as you go up, the likelihood of you being backstabbed is going to go higher and higher and higher. Because as you make more money and you become more famous and you reach different plateaus, the people that you meet, they typically got there through some, snakery. So it's best, if anything, to take the people with you that started with you and bring them up, because at least you know where their loyalty lies. And then when you win they win by default. So I think if anything, it's better to bring your people up with you than go ahead and try to create a new infrastructure with people that haven't been vetted.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think it's a burden that comes along with that a lot of people don't understand. But I think it's a healthy burden. I think it's just a manly thing, honestly. I don't think that that's a sentiment that a lot of women truly understand. I think that a lot of times women look at it as a competition with their friends, versus actually spending more time trying to cultivate and create a network or, an environment where everybody else can thrive a lot of times. So
now this is going to be a controversial take, but I'll say it anyway. I don't think women have the capability of the same loyalty as men, and I'll explain what I mean by this. So the women's psyche is a psyche of extracting resources. And what I mean by this from a biological sense, right? Like, obviously we're in modern society. Women can make their own money. Women can go ahead and fend for themselves, etc. Great. We understand that in modern society. However, the reality is women are still physically inferior to men. Women are still smaller than men, weaker than men, etc. So there's still primitive biological traits within their mind that dictate the way they behave. So for example, men, we don't need to see other men with our women to know that our woman's attractive. We have the ability to look her up and down. I find her attractive. Cool. I don't need social proof to be attracted to her. Women don't operate that way. They see a guy, if he's by himself, oh, he's maybe handsome, but if he's there with 5 girls, oh, who is this guy? I kind of want to get to know him. So women make a lot of their decisions based off of the herd and the social dynamics, right? This is why men that have social status that are ugly are still able to get very attractive women, but it might not necessarily work the other way around, where a woman that's ugly that has social status might not necessarily be able to pull the same caliber of guy, right, on her level. So that's kind of where the disconnect comes. So I say that to kind of paint the picture and the foundation that women are inherently not loyal because that is detrimental to their survival. If a woman's with a man and that man shows that he can no longer provide, protect, provision, and he can't maintain his duties, what ends up happening is she'll look to another guy that can, because, 1,000 years ago, this incompetency can get her killed. Not just her, but her child as well. So she has a vested interest in not just protecting herself, but her offspring. And if the man cannot provide that value for her and her offspring, well, her job is to survive alongside the children. Her duty is to herself and her children first. So if the man can't do his job, she leaves. This is why women initiate most breakups. This is why when women do break up with you, they feel almost no guilt, no resentment. They break up with you months in advance, right? And they find, we call it monkey branching, right, on this side of the internet. But this is how they're able to kind of get and find another guy right away. So I would argue that it behooves women to not be loyal because it is counteractive to their survival strategy. Whereas for us, men, we have the ability to not just have our beliefs, but we can fight to defend our beliefs, right? Every revolution was led by men for a reason. Men will pick up a sword to fight for their belief system, or a gun or a rifle. Women can't do that. So since they can't do that, they must align themselves with the strongest men that can ensure their survival. This is why, back in the day, a dude would have the top guy, Genghis Khan, would have all the women. Why? Because he would ensure their survival. It doesn't go the other way around. So with men, I think the reason why men, it's a masculine trait to be loyal and stand by your bros is because we're looked at as warriors and we can stand and defend ourselves and our brethren. Women can't do that. So we don't hold them to the same standard, right? There's a reason why it's called I'm a man of my word, right? And not I'm a woman of my word. There's a reason why when they say be a man, man up, 9 out of 10 times that means taking responsibility for not just yourself, but for other people. Women aren't held to these same standards. As much as people might say that's sexist or misogynistic, it's true. We almost infantilize women. And then if they do want to rise up and be responsible, we applaud it. Cool, you're responsible and you're loyal. But as a man, you're expected to do that. For women, if they do it, it's, extra credit. For us, we must do it. It's mandatory. And if you don't do it, you're considered a bitch, and we have social norms in place to embarrass you and to shame you for not adhering or being loyal, right? Being a snake as a woman is completely acceptable, but being a snake as a man, that's met with a certain level of vitriol, even more so because we're supposed to be honorable, right? That's the reason why, like, when the two men meet and they shake hands, that's supposed to be something, right? Scarface famously said, Al Pacino, all I have in this world is my balls and my word. That's a masculine thing. It's not a feminine thing because women inherently cannot be loyal based off their biology.
So do you?
Okay,
so
I gotta jump.
Well, hold on. Let me ask this one last question, and then you got it, Q Diddy. Right. So by that, do you think that we should not hold women accountable or as accountable when they decide to move on based off of their circumstances or based off of the whole mindset of survival or leveling up when they then go with a different guy?
That's a good question, because we're taking a biological urge and how they're wired, and we're trying to apply new social standards to that biological wiring.
Right.
You know, I think the best way to approach this is, I think men need to understand the fundamental wiring of women, right? And understand that in their mind. So when some bullshit does pop off, they're not surprised. I think one of the biggest reasons why so many guys get their heart broken or they get angry, or, you know, a lot of it comes from frustration of not understanding women, right? It's not that it's as bad. It's rather, it's the lack of knowledge and the lack of awareness that drives men to say, what the hell, I did everything right. And it's that inability to figure it out that really frustrates them, which makes sense. If you look at like the world around us, right? The ingenuity, the internet, the fact that we're on computers and microphones, etc. This all came from the man's yearning to, you know, make life better and figure things out. So whenever we're not able to figure things out, especially with women, men get very frustrated, right? You can figure out how to, you know, go to the moon, but they can't figure out how to keep women happy. So, you know, so I think with men, I think the biggest thing is understanding how women think and how they behave, and understanding the rudimentary biological background, as negative as that may be. And then that will make everything else make sense. So when she does break up with you, or when she does leave you, or when something that you didn't plan for does happen, you can always go back and say, okay, I understand. You don't have to like it. You don't have to be angry, but you just being able to understand will make things a lot more peaceful. You'll be able to get over it sooner. You'll be able to say, you know what? It is what it is. She didn't like me anymore. My value, I got lazy, whatever. Hypergamy kicked in, and then you can move on to another girl because you kind of understand what it is. But a lot of guys
100% agree, because I've always said that my one rule, my only rule, is I will never stop you from leaving. I am not trying to hold on to you. Once it's over, it just is what it is, and you know, that's just life. Go ahead, Q Diddy. I know you had something that you was gonna say.
It wasn't
and
much.
Anybody else could jump in this also, but go ahead.
Myron said a lot, but I just don't want the chat to like. Don't let that deter you from the fact that women are still fucking dumb.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, we make jokes all the time. And the reason for that is because there's simply not a burner performance, right? So if a girl is intelligent, think about it, right? If a woman is intelligent, we actually like commemorate that. We're like, wow, like you're actually sharp. Like, wow, like we praise that. Well, why do we praise it? Because it's not common. You know, what's the stereotype? If a girl's pretty, right? She's dumb. But if you find a girl that's pretty and smart, beauty and brains, as they say, right? That's something that's novel, because it's not that common, because there isn't a burden of performance on women to be pretty and be intelligent. There really isn't. If they do it, it's extra credit, but if they don't, it's no big deal. But there's no such thing as handsome and smart or some kind of idiom for that. Like, no, you're just supposed to get it as a guy. If you're not competent, you deal with consequences for being an idiot. Women aren't held to the same standard. Now, I know people might say that's misogynistic or sexist, but it's the truth. You can be a woman with 60 IQ and meet a man that's extremely successful and have your life taken care of. It doesn't work the other way around as a guy. If you got 60 IQ as a dude, you're cooked. You're going to have a very tough time, you know, finding a partner, let alone getting out of your basement with the Cheeto crumbs on your fucking shirt. So that's the difference between, you know, male excellence versus female excellence.
Does anybody else have anything in this?
Money by the ton. I get more bitches than you, your daddy, and your uncles, nigga. Shut the fuck up.
Here we go. No, I 100% agree. I don't think it's anything that you said that I disagree with.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, man, is like, that's why content like this is so important, to kind of like educate guys. Because like, even though, you know, like me and you, Anton, right, we've been doing this for a few years now, we might get annoyed going over the same talking points or same studies or whatever, kind of educating men on the way women think. But, you know, I always think to myself, you know, there's someone that might be hearing this for the first time that's thinking about ending it all. And then them hearing this makes them push back, you know, the thing. I'll tell you guys a story that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. There was this guy. He told me that, you know, he was having troubles with his girlfriend, and, you know, he wanted to end it all. He found a tree out in a very nice area where it had an overlook of the sunset. And he had the day, time, the rope, and the, you know, the plans of how he was going to do it. And he said before he died, he wanted to look at one more beautiful thing. And like a day or two before he was going to go through with it, he was on YouTube and he found one of my videos. And he said that watching that video led him down a rabbit hole and it helped him understand why he had the troubles that he had with, relationships or whatever. And he ended up not doing it. And now to this day, he sent me a message. I still keep it to this day. I save it on my phone where he said, he's making 6 figures now. He has a family and he has a wife. And I was like, holy crap. Like if I decided like, oh man, I'm tired of talking about this topic, I'm going to stop. And then he didn't, see that stream, or maybe he didn't see that video, who knows what would be happening now. Right. So this information was able to keep someone alive so you can go ahead and have a family. And, that profound effect is kind of what has me doing this still, even though I dislike sometimes talking to women. I'm not going to lie. It gets annoying sometimes, but I understand that redundancy is required because there's guys that need to hear this stuff over and over and over again so it gets through their head.
Hey, Myron.
Yo.
Do you know who Tony Martin is?
I don't, but I can look him up real quick.
He's a professor. He wrote the I don't even want to say it on here. The Jay Onslaught. He wrote this book. I think you should look into it.
I'm looking at him right now. You said the Jay Onslaught?
Yeah, he wrote the Jay Onslaught. Yeah, he had a little conflict with those folks some years ago. But
okay.
Check them out, man.
Okay, I'm pulling it up right now. Interesting. Okay, I already know I'm gonna like this. But yeah, man, it's a very sensitive topic. But I think once people understand, and that's why I once you understand Middle Eastern foreign policy, to kind of bring it back to that topic real quick, you'll totally understand why we do a lot of the things that we do and why we have the laws in place and the lobbies in place and why we fight the wars that we fight. And I think it's very important for Americans to understand, right, that a lot of these conflicts that we've had recently isn't really for American interests. Like the Iraq War, for example, is one of the biggest failures ever, right? And it had nothing to do with 9/11. That's the crazy part. Like when I tell people the truth about the Iraqi war and how Saddam Hussein had absolutely nothing to do with Osama bin Laden, people look at me like I'm crazy. But the reality is that, Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden were actually sworn enemies. And I could quickly go over this. The story, basically it's this. In the 1980s, the Soviets invaded Afghanistan, and Osama bin Laden, who is a wealthy heir to a very successful construction company in Saudi Arabia, went to Afghanistan to fight the Soviets. He went ahead and created a militia called the Mujahideen. They fought the Soviets and they actually won. But the CIA and American intelligence also gave Osama a significant amount of assistance and aid, and they were able to win the conflict. So fast forward to the early 90s, Saddam Hussein invades Kuwait. Kuwait strategically is a oil-rich country, and Saddam was angry because after the war he owed a lot of money. The Kuwaitis didn't want to lower the price, whatever, a lot of money disputes. So he invades, takes over within 24 hours because the Kuwaitis don't have a real military. This obviously creates a lot of problems for Saudi Arabia. Their security, and their national security has an issue now. So Osama returns to Saudi Arabia because he's Saudi Arabian, and he says, look, he tells the royal family, I will fight on your behalf. I just beat the Russians. We can stop this guy. The royal family looks at him and says, thanks, but no thanks. We have the U.S., we have the petrodollar set up. They're going to protect us. No, thank you. And this infuriated Osama bin Laden because he looked at it like, why are Americans who are not Muslims fighting on Holy Land on behalf of Saudi Arabia? This is unacceptable. Now, Saudi Arabia doesn't have freedom of speech. You can ask, Khashoggi about that. So what ended up happening was they banned him from the country and sent him off in exile. He went to Sudan for several years in the 90s. This is where he became radicalized and created the Al-Qaeda that we know now. And this kind of began the resentment of his attitude towards America. And then on top of that, our aid of Israel and our support of Israel to assist them with, toppling many Arab governments in Muslim countries and bombing them. This also aided in his anger towards what led to 9/11. Now, why do I say this? I say this because our, neocon administration during the Bush era, as well as Israeli intelligence, lied and said that Saddam was involved with Osama and Al-Qaeda because of passing information or meeting somewhere in Asia with anthrax. That's not true. It's objectively false. And then we found out when we went and invaded Iraq and there was no weapons of mass destruction. The reality is Osama and Saddam hated each other, and Osama was prepared to fight Saddam to keep him from invading Saudi Arabia. So that's the real story between them, that the mainstream media never covers because it destroys their narrative that they hate us because we're free. That's not true. It's an objective lie. And that war was really fought for the benefit of Israel because the toppling of Saddam Hussein allowed Israel, to this day, a significant amount of their oil comes from northern Iraq, where the Kurds are. So when you figure things out and you find out the real narratives of why things happen, it always points back to the same region. That war gave us zero benefit, 1 million dead, thousands of U.S. soldiers killed, innocent people that died for what? Iraq to this day is still destabilized, and the only people that benefited was Israel, really.
Now, why do you think they miraculously, anyone who tries to branch away from the central banking just kind of gets deleted?
Because they own it, man. I mean, if you look at the Rothschilds family, right, and I think everybody here knows who they are, they have a banking dynasty. They control a majority of the world's gold. They mess with the gold markets all the time. Central banking, if you own the country's money, you own the country. It doesn't matter who the leader is. There's a famous quote saying, I don't need access to the leadership. I just need access to the finances. Then I'll control the country. And that's kind of what it is. A lot of people that oppose central banking ended up killed, surprisingly.
Conspiracy theory, Slimmy in the building.
Oh no, the conspiracy is what they tell you. The actual truth is the truth. The conspiracy is what the media tells. Because you know who runs the media.
Yep.
I'm not saying that you're wrong. I just said you're in the building.
Nah, I don't got no conspiracies. What them folks be doing is,
And that's why I was like such a vocal critic of us dropping a bomb in Iran, because I saw what was coming. And to be honest with you guys, Trump wanted to drop that bomb on Iran way sooner. It's because half his base said no new wars, what the hell, that he actually, pushed it back and thought twice about it. But if this was 2003, he would have went into that conflict way sooner. So thank God for alternative media. Thank God for, big influencers that, put pressure saying, yo, we didn't vote for this. We didn't have this level of, voice back in 2003 when Bush and Cheney, these guys, invaded Iraq. But now we do. And we can kind of see history repeating itself because back then, Netanyahu was saying, oh, yeah, Saddam has weapons of mass destruction. I'll never forget. He was at Congress in 2002, right before we invaded. And he said it verbatim, if you take out Saddam, it will have positive reverberations all across the region. That was a lie. Didn't do anything. It made it even worse. We created a power vacuum, created more terrorist organizations. But the reality is they just needed Saddam out of there and it benefited them. So, what we saw going on right now with bombing Iran is part two. And this was all prophesized in something called the Clean Break Memo in 1996, where a bunch of neocons, that dual citizen individuals of a certain state, they proposed a entire strategy, a war game strategy of how they would take over several countries in the Middle East and how taking these countries over or destabilizing them or regime change or, coups, whatever it may be, this would affect their security in the realm. It's called the Clean Break Memo, a pattern of securing the realm. And that is securing the state of Israel in a region where there's constant hostility. And interestingly enough, every single one of those countries on that list have been either destabilized, bribed, overthrown, or destroyed. And the only country that's left, Iran. So this has been in the making for a very long time.
Okay. Any other thoughts, everybody?
Sorry, and I hope I didn't hijack this conversation, guys. I know you guys were talking about.
This is good. We add that as a part of it. Talk about the political aspect of it. We had talked about it a little bit earlier, so you adding this additional context is very, very helpful because we had kind of been disagreeing a little bit. So you adding this additional context, knowing that you are immersed in it a lot more than I am, is very helpful. So.
Yeah, man. I just I try to do my best to give, because I watch all media. I watch Fox, I watch CNN, I watch Al Jazeera, I watch alternative media, I watch Russian media. And what I try to do is I try to get all parts and do my best to bring almost like a consolidated, version of what's going on. And obviously Western media puts out a certain narrative, and then other medias put out certain narratives. So I try my best to kind of blend them, or at worst, give you guys the other perspective of what the other media is saying, so you can kind of compare and contrast.
When do you sleep?
During the day, man, I'm like a nocturnal dude. I normally sleep during the day, and I stream, like I start my stream like 5, and then like I just work into the night, and then I like sleep in the morning, and then I sleep all day. It's like a vampire.
All right, last question.
Sure, brother.
When do you have time for a relationship?
As of recently, man, it's been tough, bro. I'm not gonna lie, man. It's been tough as of recently, especially the past year. But it's all good, man. I think people getting to see this side and get another perspective on stuff. I think it's good because given my background and then also the topics that I cover, where it's like a lot of it is like censored or might not be covered that much, I try to give another insight.
I don't have as much time to allocate towards nurturing what it is that I got going on. So I always am curious to find out how other people operate. Most of the people that I know that are very successful, they don't focus on the relationship as much as they focus on what they feel like is necessary for them to do to win. So,
oh yeah, I'd be lying to you if I told you that my relationship was awesome. And I was like, no, man, like my social life, I had 100% transparent, gone, cooked, finito. I'm streaming all day, and then when I'm not streaming, I'm researching, reading the news and stuff like that, and then make sure I have a topic. So yeah, my social life is absolutely suffered as a part of this. Like I'm not gonna lie. So I got it great. No, hell no, man. It's fucking cooked.
Mine's is too.
Yeah.
Mine's absolutely fucking cooked, and I be in the studio all day, most of the time, and I love being in the studio. But
yeah, you have to love it.
Relationship comes second to me.
Yeah, no, and I think that's very important for people to understand. For anyone that's watching that wants to be, a YouTuber, a podcaster, influencer, or whatever, I think it's important that they understand that given the nature of how social media has made things, there's a little bit more easy access. Now it's more competitive, and since it's more competitive, a lot of the times as a YouTuber, you're competing with like professional TV networks, right? For viewership.
Absolutely.
So they kind of proved that. So it used to be kind of like a job that people did on the side for fun or whatever. Now it's like, people really do this, and you're competing against full-on production squads. So it's very competitive. And the only way that you're really going to have an edge when you're competing against full-on broadcast TV channels is you got to put in significantly more work, because you might not necessarily have the production staff or the resources like, a CNN, a Fox News, a BET. A lot of these legacy channels have created YouTube channels instead to to collect back some of that revenue they lost, because cable TV is dead. It's cooked. It's all on demand now.
It is dead. You're 100% right. Any thoughts, anybody, before Myron? Or Myron, I mean, you can stay as long as you want.
Yeah, no, I'll dip out, man. I know you guys were having a combo before.
I got a quick question.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Karen.
No, I was just gonna say the only thing that I would say is I don't agree with the disloyalty thing regarding women. All of this Trump stuff, I have to say, I've more so just kind of been trying to sit back and really understand as much as I can based on as many facts as I can find. Because to be quite honest, depending on who you listen to, you get a whole different perspective that makes sense. Like I listened to Piers Morgan, and he spoke to Candace Owens, and he spoke to this other guy. I can't think of his name. I'm sorry, I can't think of his name. Then he spoke with I can't think of his name either. It was 3 different people, and all of them gave 3 different perspectives with history attached to it that made total sense. Then I listened to the interview between Tucker Carlson and I'm so bad with names.
Ted Cruz, probably, yeah.
Yes. And even their discussion, both of them to me were like making valid points. And then I tried to do my own research and look at, I think it's like Al Jazeera. So yeah. I'm doing my best to listen to all these different perspectives, which is also causing me to have to go back to understand how did Israel even come into be? How did it even come to be? What was our beef with Iran all this time? Like all of these different components. So I appreciate you coming up here sharing what you've shared. And the reason I'm being so quiet is because I'm just digesting. Because I will say this. I don't know Trump, obviously. I don't know what his motivation is, but I do get a sense that he is attempting to operate in some capacity of like his own intention to take care of the country. Again, whether I agree or not is not it. Slimmy, it's not about if I agree with what he does. What I'm saying is, it seems like he is attempting to run the country how he thinks it should be ran. Now, I understand that there are things way behind the scenes that I don't know. There are agreements, arrangements that's been put into place a long time ago. There might be some that are in place with him in the current seat, but I'm still trying to be objective, if you will. And just as much as not eat the meat that they give on this side, I don't want to do the opposite just because people are saying things are true on that side, if that makes sense. So I'm taking it all in. I'm taking it all in and trying to, figure it out. I have my own thoughts on should we be over there?
Why did you say you disagree with the loyalty part?
I said I disagree. I said I disagree with the loyalty part because
is she a woman?
No. Well, kind of. But I disagree with the loyalty part because I think that a part of what Myron described, I think is true. Like, I do think that it is innate in us as women to be focused on survival for ourselves and for our children and to put ourselves in that space. But I think that it's also innate for us to want to be loyal in a safe space. Like, to me, it's innate for us to not want to have to be jumping. And I think just as much as women are maybe not being as loyal as they could or should be, I think that is directly correlated to men not being in that space of, I got you covered, you're safe, you're protected over here. So that's
why I made that, but I did make that distinction. I did say this is why when you don't do what you're supposed to do with provisioning or whatever, you're far more likely to have her leave because you're not able to provide the security. So like I did account for that like, if a guy doesn't rise up to his duties, there's a very high likelihood that the woman can leave because that security is being threatened. But what I'm saying is, when I say this also, I think it's very important to make the also distinction that with women leaving, right, a relationship is completely socially acceptable, right? We have high divorce rates. No one really bats an eye. We tell women, do what's right for you. But for men, we don't do that. We tell men, do the right thing, right? If a woman leaves her husband because he's not supposed to do what he's supposed to do, we'll champion that and say, yeah, he should have did better, blah, blah, he's an idiot, right? We have an entire infrastructure to kind of coddle women when they leave relationships. But if a guy abstains from his duties and he's not doing what he's supposed to do, or he decides to leave, he's going to be shamed for that, right? If he's a deadbeat daddy, he'll get roasted. He could be put in jail. So what I'm saying is that there's consequences for men lacking loyalty versus like for women, there aren't really the same level of consequences or the same social negative repercussions. We used to have them with religion and shame and these other things. But now, since the America has become a far more secularized society where, people can kind of do whatever they want. The same training wheels that were put in place to kind of keep women loyal and kind of keep them in relationships more long-term, these things are gone. And I would argue we've replaced it with more modernized strategies where it's like, be happy, do what's best for you. We have these mantras that feminists always put out there where a woman's happiness overrides the family being together, right? We have how many times does a woman say, I left because I wasn't happy, right? This is something that was, unheard of 30, 40 years ago. Women just made it work before because of duty. But now it's like, well, I don't have a duty to make it work anymore. I'd rather be happy. So I think that's kind of
or they'll also throw something in there and say, how can I be good for my kids if I'm not happy?
Yeah. Yeah. So I always say, and I've heard this quote a million times, right? Men will destroy their happiness for their family. Women will destroy their family for their happiness. And I would argue that
and still not be happy.
And still not be exactly because they thought the grass was greener on the other side. And the argument I make is social media, dating apps, all the internet in general has exacerbated this problem because since women are hypergamous and they're looking for the best option, right? That's just how they naturally swing. I want the biggest, strongest, best that I can get. The internet has made it where there's a plethora of options and there's all kinds of these men out there. So a girl, 50 years ago that grew up in her small town, dated a guy from high school. That's all she knew. That's all she hooked up with. And religion was a big thing. People would make fun of her if she was being a 304, etc. It used to be, this was the only guy that she had. This was the only frame of reference. This is what she knows and this is what she loves. But thanks to the internet, thanks to, our more hookup culture, promiscuous society, women have a bigger frame of reference of men. And then on top of that, higher status men have access to them because they can message them. This has absolutely destroyed the fabric of how relationships used to be, because if you leave a woman to her own devices, she's always going to get the best that she can get. And what women don't realize is the best that you can get might not necessarily be the best that you can keep. And that's the biggest distinction, where women make the L. They'll have a good guy. They realize, oh, I could do better. This guy's hitting me up. They go to that guy. They can't keep him. And then they realize, oh, this was an L. But it's not until they get older in their 30s that they realize that the Sheryl Sandberg, feminist rhetoric of have fun in your 20s, get settled down later on in life, that actually is a backwards way of them trying to find a relationship, because they have a bigger frame of reference than men, and it's going to be significantly harder to satisfy them. It was already hard to satisfy women before the internet. Now with social media and the access of higher status men, it's even worse. So what I call it is the perpetual grass is greener on the other side syndrome with modern women, where they always think they can do better, which technically they can. But how long can they do better? That is the key. And this is where modern women fuck up, because they think I can do better, but they don't realize they can't keep better. Just because you can do better doesn't mean you can keep better. And that's where they fail, because they get these guys, they have sex with these guys, but they can't retain these guys.
Another quick question for you from the chat. My homie Shay, she wanted to know, do you rock with Candace Owens?
Yeah, Candace is great. We agree on a lot of things. Israel, feminism, what's going on. I like Candace a lot. We've had her on the show before too. So I think she's great.
Yeah, I would say a lot of what you were mentioning was kind of the sentiment of what she was discussing with Piers Morgan.
When, today or another? Oh, you mean with Israel?
It was, I think, because
I know they talked today about Israel.
No, yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah. The other guy was Glenn Beck, and then Bill O'Reilly. I couldn't think of his name. Bill O'Reilly.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that interview.
So they gave all three different perspectives, and again, I was like, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's kind of like, how do you know what's the real? How do you really know? Because again, everybody who shares their insight seems to come from a perspective of what I'm saying is true.
Yeah, I mean, you mean as far as like what intersexual dynamics, like with the way men and women view each other, or?
Oh no, not that. Because I'm now going back to the whole Iran, Israel, all of that.
Yeah,
stuff.
It's tough. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This information that I told you guys about before, for example, the Osama and Saddam rivalry. You're not gonna find this on mainstream media. You kind of got to go looking for it, and that's by design. I think if more Americans understood the dark history of Israel, they would not support it, right? The state of Israel, to give you guys an example, was created through terrorism. A lot of people don't like to admit this. There's three organizations, you can look it up: Irgun, Haganon, Stern Gang. These three organizations ended up becoming, later on, the Israeli Defense Force, the IDF. But these three organizations were Zionist paramilitary organizations that were responsible for killing thousands of Palestinians or exiling them out of their, indigenous land. And it's interesting because Israel will run to the United States and say, hey, put these guys on the terrorist organization list, like the IRGC, Hezbollah, Hamas, etc. But the reality is that their state in itself was created through terrorism by killing Palestinians and British people. You can look up the King David bombing. A guy named Menachem Begin, I was talking about him earlier. He's known as the father of terrorism. He later became the prime minister of Israel. So if you talk about the dark history of Israel and more Americans knew it, they would not support Israel the way that we do, but they suppress this information under the guise of anti-Semitism. But it's there. It's a rogue state that was created through terrorism, and that's not even my opinion. That is a fact. It's biological. Excuse me. It is a geopolitical fact that it was absolutely created through terrorist paramilitary or Zionist organizations.
Well, I will definitely say, and Anton knows this, because again, this past election, it got me so deep into learning more and more and more. And I've often said that because I have kids now, I want to make sure that I'm, not operating from a place of ignorance. When I was in school, I didn't care about history. I probably wasn't learning all of this anyway, but I wasn't into history. So there's all these chunks that I don't know. So what you just said, Candace mentioned, she said that how she was talking about how Israel came to be, and she said, these Palestinians, they gave their homes over to them and like let them stay, and they would come back and they're like, you can't live here anymore, you gotta go. Like I didn't know any of this. So again, and this is to the chat as well, because oftentimes, Myron, when you come up here and share, I'm very quiet about this because I'm open to learning and hearing from people who make sense. And then I go off and I try to learn and build and see, okay, this is what he said. Is that true? So I already know I got to go research how Israel came to be. I got to go research all these different things that you're right, I never heard of, didn't know about. And so.
And honestly, that's not even like, that's by design. Like, I don't even blame Americans for not knowing this stuff because it was so suppressed for so long. If you had talked about this stuff prior to October 7th, 2023, there was a very good chance your YouTube channel will get banned, right? It's now a topic of discussion because of what's going on, right? You can't avoid seeing the kids getting bombed in Gaza. So now this has become a forefront of conversation. But if you talked about this before October 7th, they did everything in their power to suppress this. So I don't even blame, Americans when they say, I had no idea about this. Yeah, that's by design. That's on purpose that they didn't make this information available, especially on big platforms.
Gotcha.
So, but no, man, thank you for having me on, guys. I appreciate you guys letting me yap a little bit.
Thank you, Myron, for coming through, bro. I appreciate you, bro.
Nah, man, it's always a pleasure to come in here, man. I appreciate you guys letting me come on and talk, and it's always fun. So
always welcome. Always welcome.
All right, brother. You guys take it easy. Bye, guys.
All right, bye.
Anytime.
All right. So great conversation. Y'all up for another subject or no?
Yeah, but I got a quick question for Carrie.
Yeah.
When you were talking about loyalty, you said that basically like you understand the biology of it, but you feel like women are loyal when they feel safe. So essentially saying when they don't feel safe, then they move around. You don't think loyalty is
go ahead.
You don't think that loyalty is proven when the times get hard?
Well, I don't, the examples that he was given, I think in present day, that's turned into the minute that I don't like something, I move on. So that's why I agreed with where he eventually went when he said, like, we support women to not have to be loyal. I agree with that. We support, if you're not happy, then go ahead and let them go and go be you. So in that regard, I definitely do think that is somebody who's not loyal. But the example that he gave originally, making it more of a survival, to me, like a more primal time, I don't think that, I think that women were not looking to leave the man that they were under. I think that if they did do that, it was because they really felt like the only way that they could survive is if they left. And it's the result of what the man had demonstrated. So I think that that's two different things. I think that at some point in time, if you genuinely feel like you are not going to be covered, protected, safe, then you do need to make a move. But I think that back in the day, it probably was more extreme circumstances. It wasn't just, he gets on my nerves, so I'm going, or he lost his job, so I'm going. So innately, no, I don't think we're disloyal, like at our core. I think we want to be able to be loyal to our man.
I 100% disagree.
That's fine.
100% disagree. I truly believe that most women are truly only as loyal as they are.
I think that that's what it is now. I don't think that that's what it was
how
then.
It's always been.
I 100% disagree.
Okay. All right. So wait a minute. Well, does anybody else have anything else they want to
Yeah, that's how they had all those broken homes.
Listen,
Due to
this is what I
disloyalty.
know for sure. This is what I
Broken
know.
home, but
disloyalty.
when did broken homes start?
If you
It's
truly
been
want
around for forever.
I
Like
think
all
it's
those women sleeping with the same man over and over again. That's not nothing new. It's
Broken
not
homes
nothing new.
started
It's
when?
like some people's grandfathers have multiple families
Some
because
people's grandfathers don't though. So this
if
might
you
be a
truly, if you truly want to understand a woman's loyalty, you have to understand where her ceiling is, right? So if a woman, for example, believes that she's at the top of where it is that she can go, right? Meaning that she knows she knows within herself where her ceiling is. She knows what else is available out there. And the chances of her falling as a result of walking away from the thing that if she ever gets to her ceiling is slim to none. That is largely, and again, that's most, I'm not saying all, but that is largely where her loyalty lies. It is not based off of history. It is not based off of anything other than that. So let's just say, for example,
that's your opinion though, Anton.
Well, we all giving our
to me, and
I
to
thought
me,
we was
you're
all giving our opinion.
but are you talking about now? Or are you talking about like what
I'm talking about
time
all
period?
forever, now, then, all the time. So, like for example, and we all giving our opinion, right? For example, if a woman, for example, feels as though she's settled within herself, she's always waiting for an opportunity. Either if he messes up or if an opportunity presented itself, she'll justify in her mind why it's time for her to walk away because this no longer serves her. But that only applies when she truly believes that she's not where she's supposed to be. That's where the whole saying comes from, as far as she not yours, it's just your turn. But if she truly feels as though she reached the top of her potential as far as what it is that's available to her, then she will then stay loyal by default because she doesn't see it serving her or any other option where it would make sense for her at that point. I'm telling you.
So, Kira,
You're telling me your
even to the point where if that guy fucks up that she's at the top of her potential with, she will stick with him. But the standard won't be the same. It's not equal across the board. So the guy that fucks up that's at the top, he has way more room. Whereas the guy where she just so happens to be with because it made sense for her at that time or she settled with, that nigga has zero room. Because that's the guy I can do better by my goddamn self.
And Carrie, you asked when broken homes started. I think it started when women got jobs and they could do differently than the people before them.
But that's what I'm saying. I think the time period matters, and that's why I'm glad that Myron gave context, because I would agree that in present day, because of all of what has happened, it is very much so very easy for a woman to just walk away. But I don't think that it was always like that. Like, and I don't know about y'all's family line. Like, I don't know. I just know from my family lineage, the stories that my great grandmother, my great aunts, my uncles, the stories that I've been told, the women were there, even if somebody.
It wasn't because the nature of them was any different. It wasn't because women
don't know that. Well, that's
it wasn't because it was different. It's because they didn't have social media. They didn't know what was going on in New York. It cost you money per phone call back then. We didn't have as easy as access. The more we civilized the world, the more we then seen what the nature of women truly were. The only reason that women moved the way that they were moving back in the day is because they didn't have any other choice. And so they operated with the same mindset only within their small pool. And so now it's just like manufacturing. It's just like any other business. Now we in a global game. And the global game is applicable to both men and women, which is why you see more men getting their passports, because the more that they know, passports and the availability of women overseas used to be only reserved for men that were in the military. That wasn't something that was accessible largely for most regular people. And now it ain't nothing for you to get on a flight and then head over to another country and then see what was happening.
That doesn't mean that
accessibility made the game different, and it changed it, and we're still adapting to it. But I believe that the nature of a woman is still the same. It's just that it hasn't been exposed to what's happening out here in these streets.
Well, I get you, and that's what you believe. And I'm just saying that just because you believe it doesn't make that a fact. And I don't believe that the woman's nature is to be jumping all over the place and to not be under a man. I don't think that is in their nature.
Why is it that now that we have more access, that more women are getting pregnant out of wedlock, divorces are actually going up? We see a divestment from people to stay loyal within the people that's in their own group. Why is it that every single statistics point otherwise? Because it's not just what I believe.
Why is
the
it
data
that every
proves
single
that it's different.
statistic? What do you mean every single statistic
I
points
would say
otherwise?
women are going against their nature and being whores. And
listen,
I don't think it's our
haven't
nature
been.
to be monogamous like y'all be. I think we've been programmed by Disney to be so faithful. I don't think women. I think y'all have to force us to be that faithful, because you see women in third world countries fighting for feminism, and it almost looks like how it looks over here in the West. They want to do what they want to do. They don't care about their man. If they could get a better option, they're getting a better option.
It's been a woman's nature since the beginning of time to go against their man. The first woman actually did it. So what you think
You
the
have
rest of the women gonna do?
some females are sold to the highest bidder or to a wealthy man, so it's just kind of natural for human
all women
survival
are
for us
sold
to
to
get
the
the.
highest bidder.
I'm just
Women
saying,
use
like, you
their
got some countries that'll
women
sell
like
their
I said this.
9-year-old
What I say
daughter.
this last week? What I say that last
Women
week?
use their box to get everything they want. They use their box to get a man.
No, I'm talking about like 9-year-old little girls
So then
being
why do y'all
sold.
want women then? If we so horrible, then why y'all
because we
not
like
want
box.
women?
That's
Why y'all so on us?
They don't
Because we
have a
like box.
vagina.
Why y'all sweat us so
Don't do
much?
that.
Why y'all talk
Don't
about
do that,
why
Carrie. Don't do
we
that, Carrie.
so bad?
Please don't do that.
Why does this have to do
Please
with?
don't do that.
What does this have to do
I'm
with
playing
why
devil's
you like
advocate
women?
here because listen,
We like women for the same reason that
why
y'all
we're
like
so
men.
horrible. We're so horrible.
y'all
Like
have
we're
a
so
Why
bad. We're
I gotta be that, man? Why
nice
does it have to be? Why does it have to be this like disdain when men hold women accountable? Why does it have to be a
This is
disdain?
nothing about accountability, Slimmy.
This
you
has
do not
everything to
hold
do with
anybody
accountability.
accountable.
This is what accountability.
This is
what
not an
accountability looks like.
No, it's
Because
not an
it very
accountability
much is
conversation.
because when you have these conversations with men,
accountability.
when we have these conversations about men, I don't hear all this. Oh well, what y'all doing with the men for? You never hear that because a man is going to be accountable. Because a man
It's
is going to
about
be
human
accountable.
nature, Slimmy. It's just
Slimmy,
human
this is
nature.
not
Why do we
about
have to be
accountability.
accountable?
This is not human nature to actually say.
You just said it was our nature. Y'all
It's
just
human
No.
nature.
What are you talking about?
Don't conflate what I said.
That's not what
You're not going. That's not what I
He
said.
did.
You're conflating.
That's not what he said.
Oh Lord
That's not what he said.
I'm not.
Hold on. Why do we like cars? More people die in cars than any other form of transportation. No. Cars is literally driving a 5,000 pound missile, right? Like there's so much that can go wrong. You have to be. It's a possibility that even if you doing 100% of the right thing, the other person can absolutely kill you in a car. It's not going to stop us from liking cars. It's not going to stop us from driving cars. We like them because they're awesome. But we understand the danger that comes along with them, but it doesn't mean that we're not going to still drive them. We understand the nature of a woman. We understand. The problem with men is that they don't accept the nature of a woman, and so they act surprised when shit go wrong. We know what it is. We understand it. And that's why we compete. That's why we show off. That's why a lot of guys leave with their money. That's why they get with women that they know is going to leave them. That's why we have a history of paying attention to what happened to family court laws and dudes getting taken for child support, but you still see Travis Hunter making the same fucking mistake as the men before him. The nature of men and the nature of women have never changed. It doesn't mean that we don't understand it. It means that we taking a calculated risk. And most of the time, obviously, if you pay attention to what's happening in this society, motherfuckers gamble and they lose. We know the risk of going to a casino, that the house always win, but motherfuckers still go in there. It doesn't change. Like, it doesn't mean that y'all, that there aren't some good ones. Okay.
I don't need y'all to tell me. I'm being
exactly what it is.
I was being funny when I said that, because I personally am not relying on you all's belief about women regarding what women are in their most natural form. So I'm being funny by even saying what I said, but I'm sorry that I, ruffled feathers by saying that. I personally think that what we're all sharing is our opinion, and I hear y'all. You think that women,
women are whores.
Fine, we're whores, we're hoes, we jump all around, we'll go to the highest bidder. Wonderful. Okay.
Fucking
I love Carrie.
Fucking harlots.
So Carrie, I think the real
all right. Tell me this. Like what I was saying before I was really interrupted by everybody, that you guys use your box for money, resources, and protection. Has there ever been in the history or forever of a woman that got married that didn't give up her box?
It's men that give up their booty holes for the same things, Quinton.
Thank
we
you.
Can't do this.
Thank you, Slimmy.
I'm just
Unaccountable
saying.
women. She just walked right into that shit. She walked right into that.
Men use they buttholes. Tyler Perry, prime example. I'm sorry. We can't do this. Make this having sex and using sex organs for resources exclusively for women, because that's not what's being reflected in society.
Well, Carrie, to answer your question,
how many men did Diddy hire?
He hired them, but he didn't have sex with them. I think that
no, he didn't, but they were still selling some sex.
Right, to the girls. But I think that the reason that the men still look for women and still want to be with women is because there's really not another option for a heterosexual male. Like, what do you want him to do? I think if there was another option, maybe they would choose them. Who knows?
And I don't know why people want to see me argue with Myron. We said the exact same thing. What is there to argue about? Y'all just want to see somebody argue for the sake of arguing. Stop.
I'm wondering.
Every time he come on here, I'm not about to argue with him. We be saying the same thing anyways. Get over it.
I wonder why Carrie is being intentionally what's the word that I'm looking for?
Obtuse.
Is it obtuse? Is that the word that I'm looking for?
Or no, I got a better one. Dumb.
No, I think Carrie is giving her perspective. Maybe she sees women from that perspective,
It's always the same rhetoric, though.
That's her
It doesn't matter the topic.
Who's to say that she don't see the aspects of life that other people see? I mean, I respect what she's saying, whether I agree or not.
Because she has a vagina.
Well, I mean, it's just always the same. No matter what the topic is, it's always a cape. It's always a cape for the feminine gender.
Maybe she's just around women that don't be having all that drama going on in their life.
I get it. I don't be around women with drama, but I know what the real is.
Yeah, but that might be her real. That could be her experience in life. So she's only going to be able to speak from the experience that she's had.
No, I mean, when you actually listen to what she said, that's not true though, because she's already told us about situations where that she's seen where that's not true.
I don't have to suffer from something in order for me to understand that that's the nature and it's true, which is one of the reasons that I've been able to avoid suffering from it, is because I understand it, right? So I've never experienced child support. I've never experienced divorce. I've never experienced disloyalty, right? I've never experienced those things. but it's largely because I understand the nature of women and I understand how to control a situation, which allows for me to be able to pick more effectively, right? It allows for me to be able to adjust and avoid some of the same things that other people go through because I understand the nature of women. You will never, ever, and let me just say this for the guys that's out there, you cannot successfully navigate women and suffering from them if you don't understand them. And I'm talking about from a business perspective, from a relationship perspective, from a financial perspective. You can't. It's impossible because you are going to get your lunch took. You're going to get your heart broke. You're going to get destroyed and all of these things. So it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I understand it, and so I don't take it personal. But I'm not going to sit here and say, because see, like, for example, I wish Carrie was here so I could talk to her, but what Carrie will say is, well, that's just your opinion. Well, of course, it's just my opinion. It's all of our opinion. We all giving our opinion right now. It don't make it any less true. And the fact of the matter is status talks. Status matters. People could talk that shit all they want to. It matters. It 100% matters. And yes, she's going. 98% of the time, she's going. You can hit
hey, fellas, let me tell y'all something.
No, she won't.
You'll
yes,
go.
she will. Yes, she will. Yes, she will. 100% she will.
It's too hot. It's too hot to get the varsity jacket. It's too hot.
They can talk that shit all they want. They going. They going. And they not. And here's the other part about it. I'm gonna do you one better. They not even tripping about it. Like, they not shamed about it. It's not a big deal. It's not problematic. They understand the game just like you do. As a matter of fact, they might understand the game better than you do. They going.
Going where? Like, what does that mean? I don't know what that means.
You know what it mean, nigga.
Okay, understood.
They going for the right amount of money. They
Well,
might be going for free
They
too. They
not
going
always
for
be
free
money.
for real.
It's not always money. It's not always money.
No, they going for free for real. Being
Because there's
honest.
pookies who get motion and they don't have money, but they might have some type of status.
That's a fact.
How do you
They
have
going for
status with
free.
no money? How's that
In the
happen?
hood, you can have status and still be a pookie,
Oh yeah,
and
you definitely
women take you in and take care of you.
No, must be a
you
nigger
definitely
thing.
can have.
No, it's not exclusive to that.
Nah.
Broke with status is wild.
Status, yes, it's not that wild. It's 100% real. It's 100% real.
Okay.
You could be the dude that rolled around in the cutty. That's status. It don't mean you got a whole lot of money. It just means you was the nigga with the cutty. You say what?
Oh, that must be a black people thing. I'm sorry.
No, it's
Nah,
not.
you could be white with a cutty. You had the cutty, then women was rocking with you.
It's a people thing.
Yeah.
Some people got other things, some intangibles.
Yeah.
All of that shit. 100%. Broke niggas get boxed too.
Yeah, that shit. Some of
Matter
them
of fact, I'll
probably
do one better. Broke niggas fuck rich niggas' wives sometimes. So if you tell me it's just a black person thing, I'm gonna tell you it's not true. 100%. I don't know how many Lifetime movies they done made based off a real life story where the pool boy was fucking the shit out of a chick.
Or a personal trainer.
So I don't know what you're talking about. It was the nigga just got Cassie.
Tom Brady's wife too.
J-Lo left plenty of her men for personal trainers.
Yeah. Or background dancers.
Thanks. So if you're saying it's just a black person thing, I don't know where you got that from. I guess Carrie was like, I'm done for the night.
I would be too, because y'all be talking about some dumb fuck nigga shit.
Man, we talk
What you
about
want to talk
dumb
about,
stuff.
Quinton? Okay,
How stupid women are. How dumb women are. You fucking pookies with status. That's what I said was a dumb black people thing. That's asinine to me.
It's not just black people. Pookie is
Nigga,
not
you
a
the
color.
one. You the one
The
that
word
said
pookie doesn't. The word pookie doesn't exist for white people.
Let's be for real. You the one that say
true.
that you be fucking other dudes' chicks all the time. So You very
What
much.
does that have to do? Why are you trying to change everything? I'm talking about pookies with fatties. That's it.
Hold on, wait. If you fit the narrative, then how you gonna dispute it if you the one that live it on a regular basis?
I don't have any status. I'm not a pookie, and I don't have status. So what are you
how
talking
you know you're
about?
not a pookie? Do you think that Pookie know that he
It's a black people thing. I don't know what a pookie is. What the fuck's a pookie?
Okay, whatever.
It's not a black people thing.
Whatever. I ain't even gonna do
I've
it.
never heard a white person say pookie. I've never heard that.
You don't have to hear them say pookie. It don't mean they don't fit the description.
You know what it is.
It's a black person thing. That word is a nigger thing. Like,
see, now he wanna go all the way to the fucking left so that he could try to qualify.
I've never heard a white person say pookie.
This is Quinton White representing.
I'm not. I'm normal.
This is their whitewashing.
I empathize with black people more than y'all do. Pump the brakes on that. Y'all niggas be going ham on black people, and I'm the one with all the empathy, not y'all, nigga.
What does the empathy have to do with anything? You whitewashing right now.
I empathize with black people, and y'all going in on them niggas.
Quinton think
nobody was going in on nobody.
He think he can code switch when it's convenient.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
That's a superpower of most intelligent niggers.
WWQ.
He think he can code switch when it's convenient. Because
let me
tell you. I'm gonna tell you
what the hard R.
I'm gonna tell you what Quinton's strategy is. When Quinton don't want to substantiate his argument anymore, he jumps in. He uses the white thing.
Mm-hmm.
What? This must be a black thing. Where you guys been your whole life? Like Quinton, stop, bro.
Thank you, Fatty. You're correct, Fatty. That's correct, Fatty. I appreciate you.
Stop it, bro. Quinton is just as immersed and know all about black culture as everybody else. Don't let him fool you.
What does immersed mean? Like, I'm not immersed in black culture. I'm just privy to the culture. I'm not immersed in it. I'm privy. I know a little bit something.
One of your best friends is up here as Kim, and
what about her?
And you've been cool with her for a long time. I'm pretty sure that understanding that y'all are very cool, you understand perfectly fine exactly what black culture is.
What are you saying? What are you saying about Kim? What are you saying?
I'm saying that because Kim understands black culture. I'm pretty sure that she brings you right along with her.
No, she don't. No, we don't know. We have like super like intelligent conversations. Not about black.
Ignorant to have only intelligent conversations, bro.
Kim.
We do have a lot of intelligent conversations, but the flip side of that is you did know about the bus and Deborah Cox. I had no idea.
That's so good. No one knows what you're talking about, so I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay.
He be knowing about everything that's going on.
No one knows about Deborah Cox on the bus. Do y'all know about Deborah Cox on the bus?
I know that you know about what's going on in the culture.
Exactly. No one knows about Deborah Cox on the bus. It's not a black thing.
No, the song where they say, "How did you get here?" and they say they caught the bus. I had never heard that before. I got that from Quinton.
See, no black people heard it. None of y'all heard it, right? See, it's not black. See, nice try.
Quinton, you got to stop doing that, man.
Stop doing what?
You got to stop pretending like you when it's convenient.
I don't pretend anything. I have all the empathy and sympathy and grace for you niggas while y'all be going hard on the people. I understand the plight and everything. Y'all be like, no, victim mentality. You gotta do this, and y'all be going in, and I'll have grace for the darker of the species.
I have to give you that. He does say that the opinions given are like far reaching. They're just not the average black people. So I know at least when he talks to me, he does like to say the average black person, so on and so forth. He does take up for the average black person a lot.
He said he don't understand. He don't even know nothing about the culture. He don't know nothing about the music.
I didn't say the culture. What did I say that I didn't know about the culture?
Music.
What
He said he
specifically
don't
did I
know-
say?
Did you just go do that?
He said he don't know nothing about the music. Every time we bring up,
I
anything-
didn't say none of that. I was literally
Yeah.
listening to Janet Jackson before we came up here.
Yeah, no, nigga, you way deeper than Janet Jackson. You was the main one that was on the Glow. You was on the whole Glorilla train for a long time.
That's different. So I know her I don't want to say this, but I know her personally. What I do? Like I have her phone number. What's going on?
Oh, that was Glorilla you were playing?
No, that was Janet Jackson.
No, not
And
the
then
first song, the second song.
That was Lil Boosie.
Lil who?
That made it even worse.
No, I
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That little hoe.
Who was it?
Set it off.
Set it off.
Set it off, and this motherfucker set it off.
Lil Boosie, the dark skinned dude who's always on I didn't even know he rapped.
You and Carrie are the same person. You and Carrie are
What?
literally-
What did you just say?
You and Carrie are the
Wait
same.
a minute.
Carrie and Quinton is literally two peas in a pod.
This can't be real. You just said you didn't know Lil
Carrie,
Boosie rap.
think about Carrie.
You never heard "Wipe Me Down"?
Carrie is always confused.
Not that I know of. I never really understood how Lil Boosie came onto the scene. Like it kind of was like one day I started seeing him on YouTube.
He's a rapper.
I didn't know. Now I know.
This is insane.
I got you back, Gary. I got you back.
Somebody get me from up. Hold on.
I don't think anybody from Jersey.
Don't put me down there.
Maybe
Shit.
now they're listening to Lil Boosie, but when did he come out? Is he new or old? He's an old man. When did he do?
I'm not
This can't be real.
I'm not even doing
This
this.
cannot
bro.
be real.
Not doing this, Slimmy.
This cannot be real. This cannot be
How
real.
long ago did he come out?
I'm not doing this, Slimmy.
At least the early 2000s, maybe before that.
Why are you explaining
Oh,
this?
we
to
wasn't
everybody?
playing Lil Boosie in New Jersey.
Here we go.
I can see that.
Write me down.
I can see.
This point.
He's
We
pretty
were not
main.
playing no Lil Boosie in New Jersey in 2000.
We not doing this, Slimmy.
Write me down.
I don't know no white man.
Slimmy,
I
we
mean,
not even-
unless you avoided every club in the world for like the last 20
Let me
years.
go. I'm gonna go listen.
No,
to
he
it.
like started popping like in 2014-ish, maybe. No.
Oh
What?
my
Okay,
God.
well I can't.
What the
Let me
fuck is
see.
happening right
What
now?
are you talking
White man,
about?
hold on.
Way before that.
I'm
That
not
nigga was-
gonna do this. I'm not gonna do this, bro. I'm not Slimmy. You falling for the trap. You let
Yeah,
them
man. This
let them
is
trick you into this.
Is that with the
Nope.
Trill family and Fox and Webby and Boosie Badass?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That is correct, Carrie. You're correct.
Carrie's people is immersed in the industry, yet she don't know nothing about nothing.
I want you to look up "Wipe Me Down." You have to know this song.
Shoulders.
It's a dance step for that shit now.
Cause I'm on.
Yeah,
I guess
there's
I wasn't
no
there.
way that was played up north, but it could have been. I bet you people I went to Hampton with probably heard it played in Virginia, but there's no way
How
that
is
was
it not
played.
played up
There
north? It
was
was
no way that was. It wasn't played in Jersey.
It's okay, Carrie. If we didn't know, they don't be playing that shit.
All right, how many people in chat?
Awards.
How many people in the chat are from? I'm
Yeah,
not
you
talking
by-
about
you
young.
by
I'm not
yourself.
talking about
You by
young
yourself,
Jersey
Carrie.
heads. I'm not talking about young. You gotta be you gotta tell me that you're over 35 and you played this in Jersey in 2000 and whatever.
Here,
It
it
says
says
15 years
"Write
ago.
Me Down" at the 2007 Hip Hop Awards. That means people knew all over the country knew that song.
No, I'm not talking about hip. I'm talking about so for me, and I won't speak for everybody, but she capping. I'm from Jersey. How old are you, Derek? You look younger. How old are you?
Carrie,
You like
don't
you
do
about
it.
20 something.
Carrie,
Somebody
don't
said
do it.
42.
Carrie, this is
Like
not
you about 20 some years
this
old.
is not the hill that you want to be on, Carrie.
Somebody said they're 42 from Jersey and they played it.
It's the Dusty Anthem from 07.
Yeah, I never heard of that before. Never heard that.
Why is it called Dusty? And he's talking about wiping himself down. That would
I said the
insinuate that he's
Dusty
not
Anthem of 07. The Dusty
And I said,
Anthem.
how's he dusty? Because he's talking about wiping down. So if you're wiping yourself down, that means you're not dusty.
Kim,
Okay.
if I could bring you up here with the rest of us, I would. I would leave them on the bottom.
Oh wait, hold up! I heard first. This the one where he spells forever, like T-O-K-T-T-T.
Hey man,
Okay,
read
I
the
might have
super
heard
chat.
that.
Read
I
the
might
super
have heard
chats,
that.
man.
I might have heard that.
I knew this shit was capped. I knew this shit was capped the whole fucking time.
Y'all just need to sing it to her real quick. Stop playing around. That's me. Wipe me down.
Yeah, okay. I might have heard that
the
somewhere.
Chats, man. No, ain't no somewhere. That shit was everywhere. Everywhere.
I also wasn't in the clubs at that point in time though, so
I wasn't
You used to
either.
be in the club, Carrie?
However, I did turn my radio on.
a little bit of time, just a small smidgen. From like 2024 back.
Okay. Quinton and Carrie need to do a podcast together called Clueless.
Can I wear a blonde wig?
Clueless.
Man, listen, man. You ain't gotta be hood to know that. I'm gonna just let you have that. Streets. You just Jesus, man.
Joshua says, I'm doing 1 meal a day, 2K. I'm hungry as hell. Bobby Michael says, hey, Carrie, do you know where we can find that pastor you were talking about, the one your husband introduced you to? Does he have any social media? I would love to hear his message.
The one my husband introduced.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I'll find it and I'll put it in the chat.
Tell G says, Q Diddy, wake up. Julius Jermaine says, the more I see B Simone, the less attractive she is to me. She's a 3 right now, especially with that horrible picture Anton put down there. I think that B Simone is attention starved and B Simone to me is one of the most drama filled, attention starved people I've seen on the internet in a long time. Everything is drama. Everything is, oh my God. And I need to find me a man. And I'm on my journey. And I'm like, get this headache out of my life. It is so annoying to even hear her talk, bro. Honest to God. So dramatic. I hate when women are overly dramatic and every time they do a podcast, they gotta cry.
It seems like she's trying to get a starring role every time I see her.
Oh, it's almost like she's
really on her God journey.
You don't have to worry about if I'm fake saved. You should just make sure you're real saved, okay?
Who was that?
Somebody said I'm like, yeah, I was talking to the chat. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, they've been trolling all night. Going
Yeah,
crazy.
I'm talking about. Speak on it, boo.
Drama City TV, Cleveland in the building says, B Simone proves mental illness is real. What's goodie? What's goodie bag? Slimmy, Molly, Carrie, Kim, 2K, Q Diddy. Congratulations, and Anton from Drama City in Cleveland. Shout out to Drama City, man. We love you, bro.
My dog, I gotta say I seen him earlier.
Oh, city or no city?
Don't ever do that.
We got t-shirts that say "Oh City" or "No City."
No, stop. Please, stop, don't do that. Don't do that. They gotta stop. Oh, I like that marketing. I don't like that marketing. Oh City.
Oh, city or no city?
Oh,
niggas
it's
everywhere,
bad.
nigga. Niggas everywhere, nigga.
Pull up the t-shirt. Oh, that's so wrong. That is so wrong.
It's a great slogan. It's a great slogan for the city.
That is so bad.
What? What is bad about it?
No, Quinton, that's corny, bro.
That is the worst.
That's
I didn't make
cheese,
it up,
bro.
nigga. I ain't
No,
make
I'm
it
not
up,
saying
nigga.
you. I'm talking about whoever made it up. That was bad.
It's
Like,
amazing
so
fucking
horrible,
marketing,
bro.
nigga. For niggas from the city, it's amazing.
y'all
Wait,
call it
Fuck
O
you
City?
outsiders.
Say the
You said
slogan
what?
again.
Y'all call it O
O
City?
Ci- O City or no city?
Bullshit.
What's wrong with that? I
No.
don't get it.
Oh, that's bad, bro. Oh, no. These gonna be on Adidas shirts, official Adidas and Nike shirts. That shit gonna look bad.
Oh, that is horrible.
Yeah, I know. Oh man, I know it's in the name, but I never knew that y'all
Like
called
even
it
the
O
official
City.
set, the official Nike shirts on the back, it said we did it for the city.
Nah, that's straight though. But the O City part is just like,
What you
that
mean?
shit
Oklahoma
sounds.
City, O City?
Y'all call it O City though? I'm saying like y'all always called it that,
Yo, please.
No,
or
we
y'all
call
just
it
said
OK
Now
Oklahoma
that
City.
daggone
for the-
song is
for the-
stuck in my head. I need another
For
song.
the sake
Ooh,
of the
sorry.
slogan, it sounds good, but no one calls it O City. No, we call it Oklahoma City.
That make it worse. So they just came up with.
That is so horrible, bro.
That's
something
bad,
it's something that the niggers made and it caught on.
Oh,
What you and Miss already
come on, bro.
What the fuck, bro?
Come on, bro. No, ain't no Negroes made that up, man. Never mind.
Yes, they did. It did come from the niggas. Yes, it did.
You just said don't nobody call it that.
They don't. The niggas said, and then the whites put it on a t-shirt.
I'm confused. Like we call Cleveland the land. These ain't like we called it Seatown, so that like it didn't derive from nothing. Like somebody had to call. Nobody called it O City. Nobody said that. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Someone had to say it the first time, but it's not like widely known that it's like, no, that's not the thing. But it's all over t-shirts now that we won.
That shit is horrible. Yeah, Cameron, you lame, nigga.
Let me read these super chats, bro. Tell G
Shout out to Clay Bennett.
In the torrid zone, bacon. Ray Leo says, my best friend know I'm homeless. He on housing refuse. Let me stay with him until I can get back on my feet. He's still my bro. He don't owe me shit. T Sam says, friend is outdated term. It doesn't exist. People don't know. Give and take. That's it. Today's friend is tomorrow's enemy because you let your guard down. Big Al says, yo, Slimmy, this is a team of winners. Tell Anton to put me on. What up to Big Al? Alex John 54 says, Myron is absolutely wrong about geopolitics of the situation. Magnetar says, Myron, when you say the government doing BS with our tax dollars, you mean Congress and not regular government workers, right? Chris Cunningham says, late to the party. Shout out to the ladies with the clavicles out. Myron is cooking, says Chris Cunningham. Tell G says, been saying that systematic programming versus instilled nature. Tell G says, speaking straight facts. T Stam says, this is toenail flavored chips. Coach says, Myron, I've been following you for a while, bro, which is why I found Uncle Anton. Big shout out to you, bro. Graffiti Anton ain't give a fuck back.
Oh, that's how you pronounce his name, Coach?
That's Coach Cheese.
Coach Cheese.
Yeah,
okay,
Coach Cheese.
I just call him Coach. Chris Cunningham says, if it's a conspiracy, that means it happened already. Xander says, love your passion, everyone, stay real. Tell G says, that is why they are called agendas, actions that take place over time. GBG Grizzly says, protection is the worst word to enter these talks. Rage King Leo says, you're right. People get mad when they call them fake jewels. Rage King Leo also says they was trying to do this strike during Sleepy Joe. Freedom Land says the American Army is for rent. I wish Myron could be a regular. Molly's clavicles. Carrie is a cutie pie, and that's all I got. Okay, love you. Bye. Shout out to you. Coach says Uncle Anton made a great impact at on Aunt Carrie. I effing love this show, man. Big ups to y'all. Let's go. And hi, Molly. Molly does look exceptional right now. Javante says, Myron just gave you all a piece of history that many have missed, even in schooling. Take time and do your own research to find answers to these topics.
This isn't in schooling. Sorry, sir.
GBG Grizzly says, a person seeking or needing protection is not looking to be spoiled or have their desires catered to, etc. They also do not choose to create chaos. Sosa says, men are in love, women are in business. KL says, Carrie, check out Crossroads with Joshua Phillips. T. Sam says, being a hoe is the oldest profession. Rage King Leo says, you witnessed betrayal member Julio AD. Yes, you did. What? I don't know. I don't remember what that is. Julio? I don't know what that is. JY says, a French woman divorced her husband, took $800K in a divorce and gave it to AI Brad Pitt. Women love status. Mo B, shout out to my dog Mo B. Thank you, big dog, for holding us down. I appreciate you, big dog. 50 ball, Jesus. Johnny Tsunami says white pookies are called chads. Rage King Leo says Q Diddy, you're a pookie. You have multiple baby mamas. Rage King Leo also says Miley.
No, I don't. I say that for the gram. Thanks.
Molly finance women's lifestyles. Or you're gay, getting we are no longer financing women. Life talk to me when you got it. No simp gang.
Hey.
MP says, Carrie about to make me punch a hole in the wall. God damn it. Joshua says, this is Cap. Carrie, listen to wipe me down before church. Fahim Jackson says, this is how you know Carrie wild. Go watch the LSU football game playing Boosie, set it off. The whole crowd knew the lyrics. Joshua says, say shoulders, chest, pants, shoes. Shoulders, chest, pants, shoes. Lonnie says, before she found God, Carrie used to rock Timbs and carry razor blades on her hair. She ain't fooling nobody. Mun says, Carrie ain't never heard it. INDEPENDENT. You know what that means. You gotta.
That's what over here spelling.
Fahim Jackson says, Q prove why.
I heard that before,
small markets. No, Carrie said A, B, C, D, E, F,
INDEPENDENT.
Q prove why small markets should never appear in the finals. They trying to be relevant. Nap Town, Sleeper City sounds better than the damn Pacers.
That's actually not true. That's not true. That's actually not true. 88% of cities in America are smaller than Oklahoma City, but carry on.
Why Carrie look like a piece of lemon pound cake?
What?
I agree.
I don't know. That's what 6'8".
That's an amazing compliment, Carrie. Just taking a roll.
Mela Britt says career advice. Should I take a LOA or cash out the 401k and leave my bus operator career to focus on the new career path? Dude, don't you cash out that 401k. Don't you cash out that 401k. You hear me? Don't you cash out that 401k. That's all I got to say. Don't you do it taking them penalties. All right. I think that's the last one.
So speaking about this small market, like how many actually big market teams are in the NBA? You got Chicago, New York, and LA. Outside of those, like what's a big market team?
Atlanta.
Like most markets in the NBA are small. Like you have to have a top and a bottom.
Dallas.
Atlanta.
What are you talking
Houston.
about?
Yep.
Dallas.
Okay, so
Miami.
five.
Miami.
Five. You're
No,
at 5, 6.
We well past 5.
Okay, we're at 6.
Los Angeles got
6.
2 teams, dog.
Boston.
You said
yeah, Boston.
Okay, 7.
Shit.
7.
What
technically
Brooklyn?
Detroit.
Brooklyn.
Detroit.
I'm just saying, like you guys are saying this argument, but the commissioner said otherwise.
Brooklyn.
What the commissioner say?
I'll put it up and I'll put it in the chat when I find it. But the commissioner said
Clippers,
the Knicks,
the Knicks,
the commissioner. I said market. I didn't say teams. I said market. New York City is one market. It's one market.
What?
Nothing.
How's that one market?
OKC.
No, I think
I knew you was gonna lose your motherfucking mind when this team won.
What are you doing?
They're getting the explosions.
dude, it's a lot of big market teams.
Okay.
Shit. What? Orlando. Shit.
Facts. Philly.
Yeah, damn. Man, they everywhere.
They are.
I mean, shit. Technically, Phoenix.
The commissioner said technically there's 4 teams, but that's the commissioner of the NBA, so I'll step back.
You don't think that Golden State and Boston is big market teams?
No. Well, they were likening it to they said Oklahoma City is a small market team and they don't have enough money to sustain a viable roster to win more than one championship.
Oklahoma City, Milwaukee, places like that, 100%.
Cleveland.
You don't think? I don't think we have enough money to sustain it. Yeah, but do you believe that?
The richest owner in the NBA is Steve Ballmer, and he owns the Clippers. He built the whole arena based with his own money. He didn't even.
But they have, but clearly having the most money don't really mean enough. Like I'm saying, like sustainability. Like they said, we don't have enough money. They haven't won anything.
Oh shoot!
They haven't won anything.
It doesn't matter. You're missing a point. You asked.
They haven't won. No, what we're talking about.
There are.
No, we're asking, does Oklahoma City being a small market team mean they don't have enough money for sustainability? Because people said this is about to be a dynasty and they about to run it up. I don't think that, but that's
no. We not gonna get that's it. One and done.
Well, we're already we're the betting favorite to win next year. So I guess if you want to live in your feelings and say no,
Boston was this year too. Don't worry about it.
That is true. Boston
Y'all up out of here. Be happy. Be happy Halliburton got hurt.
Boston wasn't the youngest team in the league either when they won.
Don't care.
Don't
care.
They're old. They didn't run it back. I bet you $1,500 right now. I'll bet you $1,500 right now. We'll win again next year. Handshake. Thank you.
That's a whole year from now, bro.
You know how much can happen?
We're not even gonna remember.
Y'all might not even beat Houston ever again. Now that they got
Houston's trash, nigga. Kevin Durant ain't shit. He don't move the needle for nobody.
Oh wow.
You want to talk to Brooklyn and Houston?
I don't think. No. I'll say this.
Talk to Brooklyn and Phoenix about that. He don't move the needle for nobody.
Well, 5 second round pick says otherwise. But I'll say this:
5 second round.
I don't think. Yeah, they traded 5 second round picks, and a first round pick, and 2 players,
Green
and an upcoming superstar. Yeah. One of them was an upcoming superstar. Yeah,
they mortgaged.
So you're saying 5 second round picks is what's going to help Kevin Durant make Houston?
He's saying the cost of being able to get the deal done says that he is moving it.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Kevin Durant needs help, and the help that he needs isn't in Houston.
You can't say that. You can't say that, man. First off,
I can say that. I can be wrong, but I can say it. I can be wrong, but I can say it.
Well, listen to this. Just hear me out. Moving Jalen Green doesn't hurt them. It doesn't hurt them at all. It now moves other players that Anton probably saw in real time. Cam, who I saw your facial expression when he dunked on that dude. Oh, God. It was grime time. That was pure grind time.
We need to get them away from each other. We got to separate them.
But Cam, I forgot his last name. Dude got major bounce. He got major upside. So moving Jalen Green now puts him higher in the rotation. They are going to be a serious problem for the West if they stay healthy. They got a fire center. He's gonna be one of the best centers in the NBA. Like in the next 3 years. Cam Whitmore. Thank you, sir. He's going to be.
Y'all can go down there and play. I'm just messing with y'all.
Like
we have 17 first round picks. We have 17 first round picks over the next 5 years because we finessed. Because we finessed with the Ballmer guy. We finessed Ballmer and had them thinking that PG was gonna get them a ring.
Well, PG did his part. Kawhi Leonard couldn't stay healthy.
Doesn't matter. So, we finessed the shit out of that nigga. He let that nigga Kawhi Leonard be the GM is what fucked him up. Kawhi said, I want PG, and that nigga didn't do nothing.
Who didn't do nothing?
PG. They don't have any rings.
Let me finish these super chats so I can get y'all up out of here.
Yeah, Dallas gonna be crazy too.
We turned that train into a championship. That's crazy.
Not really.
No. Listen, we happy for y'all.
Not really, nigga. Everything that we have came from that trade. What are you talking about? The Jalen and Chet, two of our top niggas came from first round picks from that trade.
Who you say the first?
Jay came from Jalen Williams, that dumb nigga with that fucking.
Oh, you said Jalen. I was about to say Shay ain't come from that.
Well, Shay came from the trade from the Paul George trade. Oh
yeah, because he was on the Clippers. Oh, you're right.
Yeah, we got Shay with like 5 first round picks. Them dumb niggas.
Yeah. That was. Oh, I forgot they traded. I forgot they traded Shay to get Paul George.
We got Danilo Gallinari out there.
Oh yeah. I was wrong. That's a bad. That was a horrible trade.
It was a horrible trade.
I said it then because I was like, damn, I don't think they should have got rid of the young boy. Who was Shay?
But you gotta remember, they didn't do
Shay
that.
looked good at the Clippers when we got him. Shay was like, that nigga was hooping when he was 21.
Yeah, he was balling out. The signs were there that he could be this.
That wasn't a Clippers trade. That was a Kawhi trade, bro. That had everything to do with Kawhi. It didn't have nothing to do with that's what the Clippers wanted to do.
It doesn't matter. He plays for the Clippers and they did it.
Well, we know that, Quinton.
Yeah, they shouldn't have did it.
So
they shouldn't have did that.
But they basically
and now see, this is what I always say: never mortgage your future. Never mortgage your future ever. Houston doing that now.
We coming back with Nikola topic next year. We gonna bust y'all's ass, little 19-year-old.
Okay.
We gonna let them get familiar. That nigga been playing fucking in Europe since he was 16 years old, professional.
CP3 mode SGA. He don't play nothing like CP3. Stop.
We're gonna let Quinton have his moment, and we're gonna
y'all niggas.
They play well. They play well.
They hate.
But I think if Halliburton wouldn't have I didn't even realize that's the shirt you had on. Oh, that's dope.
Nigga, old city or no city, niggas.
See, now this one I'm on. Bro. That's when we don't get up out of there.
Okay, see the League's Championships 2020 says 6-foot Aquarius. Jay Mills says y'all got a cool dynamic, like y'all like the Black Magic school bus.
Wow. I think that's
Mellow Britt says, why not cash out a 401k? Future ain't guaranteed, Anton. These passengers be working my nerve and my right knee be hurting. Should I roll over to it? Man, don't cash out your 401k. You don't want to pay don't cash out your 401k. Never. It's literally growing tax-free. Why would you throw money away?
It's only helpful if you make it to retirement age. If you die before that, then you're just fucked.
Who are y'all planning on dying anytime soon?
No, that's another content creator's sentiment about 401ks.
That is the dumbest assessment that I've ever heard in my life, bro. It's Jesus Lord. Okay, see, not coming back. Let Q have his temporary fun, says Fahim Jackson.
That was some slander.
Andre says, no, Anton, heard your joke about the roach, and they different in South Carolina. They fly here. Yo, I'm not moving nowhere where they got roaches, water bugs, palmetto bugs, none of that. I'm not going. I'm not rocking out with that. I absolutely am against any kind of flying roaches, anything roach related. I don't want none of that. I don't want that around me.
I just want to say that we're the champions and we have the 15th first round pick on tomorrow. So thanks.
Shout out to Quinton and his
and we're gonna trade up to get top 10 because fucking Sam Presti, best GM in the last 20 years. Thanks.
Don't go too far. They don't need to do that.
Dude, okay, I understand y'all like y'all's teams and emotions, but what he built with KD, he was down for a little to rebuild a championship team. That's ridiculous, bro. You can't say this has nothing to do, nigga. Russ,
I don't think you understood what I was saying. I don't think you understand what I'm saying. You're just flying off the handle.
I'm not talking to your point. I'm just talking about how great Sam Presti is. Has nothing to do with you.
Well, why'd you cut me off?
Listen, y'all, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We got to let the women go.
He built 2 championship teams in 20 years.
We love y'all. Peace.
No, nigga, we still talking.